complications always get me into these situations again, because I might be tempted. Always get me into these situations again, because I might be tempted. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with everything. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with everything but me. Paint away, day and night, 𝗙𝗍𝗶𝗏𝗀, I'm okay. You're alright, goodbye then if you dare. Someone new is pulling everywhere. I'm afraid to let them. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in panic. Yeah, 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 yeah. After you, I'm afraid of feeling some too soon. Cling to what you're giving. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Yeah, 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 yeah. Paint away, day and night, 𝗙𝗍𝗶𝗏𝗀, I'm okay. You're alright, goodbye then if you dare. Someone new is pulling everywhere. I'm afraid to let them. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. Nothing is what I think. it's over.
Do you need anything like I need you? Oh, let's go.
I've got no place to be alone, my friend. He cut his wrist instead. There's your answer. You better save yourself,
Or else nothing like success. I would rather be in hell than regret. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Let's go. You know I do. Woo! A denial are not my words. Let's go. How we doing, people? What fucking day of the week is it? Is it Friday? It is. It's Friday, isn't it? Before I do it again, do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? WTF, let's go! Woo! Let's fucking go, baby! Thank you! Dude, and stop stupidity, let's go! Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Let's go. Oh, that's good. Found your missing cat. Oh, dude, I have a funny missing cat story. I'm gonna tell you real quick. So, I had 3 cats. I lived in a house for a while, a 3-bedroom house by myself, and it was back when Portland was cheap. This was around the time I was doing Let Go After Glow, like 2003. I rented a 3-bedroom house for $800 and change a month, and right, and I had a recording studio in the basement, which is why I kept this house. Okay. And it was an amazing house. It was the house that Bryce was born in. But anyway, I had 3 cats. Okay, these were cats that I had gotten when they were little kittens. There was Stella, Little G, and Uncle Fucker, affectionately known as Uncle F. And so I left a basement window open, and the cats would just scamper up the wall and go in and out on their own. Like they were indoor, outdoor. I never put collars on them because I didn't believe in collaring cats, and they didn't like it. And so they were just free roam. And occasionally, yes, I would wake up and there would be another cat eating their food, and they would be in skirmishes in the living room or whatever. But so Stella was like black and white. Little G was all black. Guinness was his name, but we called him Little G because he was really big. And Uncle F was like a traditional, like Morris the cat, like orange and white one. And then Uncle F disappeared like one day, like just gone. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, dude. And sometimes he would go away. Sometimes he would go away for, you know, I don't know, a week at a time, but he disappeared like for a long time. It was like months. And I didn't know if he was ever going to come back or if something had happened to him. And I was definitely holding space, like wondering what happened. Well, he showed up after like 4 months. Uncle F showed up and he had a collar on. And he looked really good. And it was really weird because I think he left because he was a little rambunctious. He was a little aggressive. And I think he, like looking back at it, I think he was aggressive because of the other two cats. Like he wanted to be a lone cat or something. He didn't like having to share the time. And somebody took him and like he had a collar on and he looked really good. And he was like really friendly. His whole demeanor was different. And so I just let him go. He was there for like the night. He ate food, he hung out, and then he left again. And I never saw him again. And he literally just came, I think, to like let me know that he was good and he had found a new home. And I was like, all right, cool. He looked good. So I let him have a new home because I'm not super like, I'm not crazy, attaching about this shit. I'm sort of like, let the world work itself out. But isn't that wild that like, he just like, I'd never had that happen where one of the tribe just struck out on their own. I thought that was kind of like, that was a very me thing to do, So I had to respect it. Dude, isn't that funny? I thought that was pretty cool, man. Hey, man, dude, my thing is I have no problem with pets being autonomous. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't own them really. I mean, we do, but like we don't really, they're animals, right? The attitude changes because he was neutered. No, I had already had that. I had already taken care of that with all the animals, right? But yeah, man, dude, Uncle F branching out. All right. So yeah, that's my cat story, but I'm glad you found your cat. It can be traumatizing, especially if you only have one cat, you know what I'm saying? Or like one pet, right? You get really attached to that shit, right? But all right, dude. So we're going to pile through. I'm going to give another shout out to, Stop Stupidity kicking us off. WTF with the big banger kicking us off. Let's go. All right. But holy hell, dude. Friday night. So, Tommy, the cat had many stories to tell. Dude, I bet he did. I have no idea where he lived. If I had it to do over again, I probably would have just called the owner so I could like, I don't remember if there was a name on the thing. I don't think there was. I don't think there was a number. That's probably why I didn't. Because this is a while ago. It was like 20 years ago. But it would have been nice to see the house, to see who was like taking care of him, But Cats are pretty cool. I've always really liked cat energy, you know? You know what I mean? I have. Dude, some people are going through it, man. Stop the Stupidity lost somebody, I believe, that was close to them. And like people are, you know, dude, oh no, your fucking site's not gonna get better. That's rough. Yeah, man. Dude, lot of crazy energy going on in the world today. Dude, we have some shit to look at. So first off, a lot of, you know, everybody's gearing up for the storm. You know, it's my son's living in New York City and they're expecting to get super hit. He said everybody's like going to the grocery store, stocking up. Dude, here in Portland, like it's mild, guys. It is crazy how mild it is. I mean, it's going to be pretty cold tonight and tomorrow night at night, but during the days it's in the 40s, and next week we're going to be in the 50s. It's sunny. There's not even fucking, you know, what do you call it? There's not even any rain, dude. Our winter has been so mild. Dude, Jason's, let's go, baby. Dude, it's been so mild. And well, and you know, though, Moss, just to say about Canada, there are many places in the US that are going to be fined, right? You know what I'm saying? There are many places in the US that'll be fine. Some places are not used to that shit. Okay? Some places are definitely going to get hit hard, right? And I think, you know what it is too? I think in some places, in you know, places like New York in particular, it's going to be interesting what happens when it gets that cold with the subways. Like, you don't know if the subways fucking go down and shit. Yeah, you know, it's like, that's going to be interesting. The whole city's probably going to shut down. But we're chilling, guys, right? Yeah, Trump is such an idiot. What did he say? Oh, there can't be global warming because it's so cold right now. Oh, no global warming because it got really cold this winter. Oh, Trumpy, oh, it can't be global warming. It's warm out. Oh, it's cold. My nuts are cold. Dude, I mean, is there anyone dumber than that guy, bro? Like, honestly, I'm hard pressed to think of anyone that is as stupid as that fucking human being, bro. And the fact that he is the president of the United States is like, I want to call in the comment right now. Haley's, yo, can you send a big one, right? I mean, make that thing fast, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to call up Jupiter and be like, send an asteroid, boss. My God. Like, I don't even know what to say. Honestly, guys, think about this. Think about what it's like raising a kid right now. How do you tell your kid to, like, you know, you really should do well in school. You really should, like, you know, develop knowledge and a thirst for, you know, knowledge and curiosity. You should, like, you know, take several languages and learn how to play an instrument. Why? Because it'll help you be smarter. It'll help your brain. But they'll be like, but the president is dumb as a bucket of shit. Like, why should I be smart? Apparently you can be an idiot and mean and, like, you know, have dementia and they'll give you the top job. Right? You know, how do you raise a kid in this environment? There is no way, guys. Dude, I just, you know, they're so fucked. Between the president being an idiot and most of the young influencers being idiots, I feel like Gen Alpha is they're really struggling. They don't have any role models. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, dude. When I was growing up, like, I feel like we had role models. Okay, we had people in movies that were fighting to like bring groups together. We had movies. I grew up with like The Breakfast Club, which is like 5 young people thrown together that hate each other, and they open up and they find connection. And you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, we had shit that was like, man, there's like a connection to be had, a world to be explored in each of us. And we all have something to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? And we had shit like that. We had people that, were making movies like that. We had rock stars like Kurt Cobain. Even though his suicide was hard to take, they were outspoken. There were rock and roll people that were outspoken. There were, bands like 𝗙𝗏𝗏, the first gay band that was out there, like, living it. There were people like, I don't know, dude. We just had so many people speaking up about the right side of things. You know what I'm saying? I guess that, and now it seems like everybody's on the wrong side, right? Yeah, no, Eddie was amazing, dude. They're like taking on Ticketmaster. They're always speaking about shit. Whoop that trick. All right, let's go. Whoop it. Oh, dude, I do like what I saw somebody say here, though. What was it? Somebody did the opposite there. And they said, you better study. You don't want to turn out like the president, do you? Right? Where was that? That was a good one. Like flipping the script on it. Right? I can't find it now. But it was somebody that said in chat, I saw it go by. They said, you just tell your kids, like, you better study because you don't want to end up like the president. There it is. From Cindy Lou. You better study. You don't want to grow up like the president, do you? That's actually, oh shit. Dude. That's it. Well, you know what's so funny though, guys? Is despite all of that messaging that we had when I was a kid, like I said, Breakfast Club and all these rock stars, it is literally my generation of men that all voted for Trump. The biggest group of Trump voters were Gen X men. And this is part of the reason why Gen Z boys are lost, because a lot of guys my age didn't go to therapy. They didn't heal. They didn't get the message. They watched all those movies and just sort of like, they got stuck on Porky's and never got out of it, and that's, so they're raising kids, young men that are disaffected, that are buying into this shit. Okay. Dude, it's true. Dumbasses. What happened to We Are the World? Let's go, Kimberly. Yeah. Now it's not We Are the World. Now it's like, oh, quick, can I get mine? All right. So, dude, we got to start. We're going to start with Erika Kirk. Okay? We're going to get her out of the way. Then we're going to pile into Minneapolis, and then we're going to talk about Nick Fuentes and some of these influencers. All right? We really blew it. Dude, we definitely blew it. But let's start with Erika Kirk, because this shit is batshit, bro. Right? Look at that shit, dude. That shit is crazy, bro. Oh, man. But let's start with Erika Kirk, all right? Oh, my God. Dude, what is going on? Dude, Erika Kirk visiting with Chuck Grassley? Dude, she's not having sex with him, is she? Right? I mean, dude, at this point, I don't know. Right? I could see it. Dude, she's going to go and give him a little lift in exchange for some... Right? She's got to go do her good Christian deed. Take care of the old Chucky G. Dude, he couldn't handle her? Dude, I don't know, dude. I bet Chuck Grassley is like, look at him. He's got the fire in him, dude. He's got the dog in him. You can see it. Dude, let's go. WTF with the gifted. Dude, I feel like he's got the dog in him, dude. He just knows, right? He knows he's got no time left, bro. So he's like, oh, come here, Erika. You want to sit on my lap? Well, come sit on my lap. I know, isn't it gross? Dude, look at him. Oh, shit, dude. Although, you ready for this? He's voting no on the SAVE Act, boss. So, like, he is the thing standing in the way of their little voter scam, right? Because they're desperately trying to suppress the vote with the SAVE Act. No way, dude. WTF just dropped 20 gifted memberships. Are you crazy? No way, bro. Damn, son. Oh, dude, we're going to do a bunch of Trumpies. Dude, Erika is not normal. Dude, let's go. You crazy, boss. Let's go. Dude, let's go. Congrats to all the new members. Dude, let's go. Dude, rocket ship, baby. Let's go, baby. Dude, that's crazy, dude. I wish I could leave you a fucking message there, but I cannot. I keep looking at it. But anyway, thank you, boss. I'll leave you a message right here, dude. Let's go. I like to do the type message. Thank you, boss. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right. So, here's why we got to talk about her. Because, guys, we are standing at a precipice of like MAGA dysfunction. Okay? We talked a little bit about this yesterday, right? Hold on one sec. Let me look here and see. All right. So I have not made that video yet. All right. Good to know. But so we're standing at this precipice of like MAGA Christianity, loosely termed, versus like the rest of the world, seemingly. And the basic Republican voters are still sort of in the middle of this shit, you know, where we're not exactly sure which way they're going. Okay. I mean, a lot of them are defecting from Trump. A lot of them are like, you know, sort of opting out, at least online. There's a lot of skirmishes, but it seems like Erika Kirk is like going to the fringes. Okay. They are going to the fringes, right? She said, you know, she did this thing at the Harvest Church with Greg Laurie. He has got multiple lawsuits about SA and trafficking in Romania. She has had some stuff with Romania. But look at this statement, guys. Look at the statement that this woman just made. Let me find it here. I think I bookmarked it. Maybe I didn't. I'll find it. I did not bookmark it, of course. It's the usual thing. Oh my God. Yeah, but it's this statement right here. Okay? Erika Kirk calls anti-ICE protests demonic. Okay? So let's listen to her clip, because it's not even with her just saying the protests are demonic, but it's her general demeanor when she is discussing this event. Now, what makes this so troubling, guys? All right, hold on. Let me find it here. Let me find the video. Okay, because there's a specific video clip. Here it is. Okay, so what makes this so troubling is that this is a supposedly like Christian thought leader. I know I hate saying that, but if we were to look at the landscape of American Christianity, she is a Christian thought leader at the moment. She is the CEO of the biggest child grooming organization that Christianity has. Right now, 𝗙PUSA Faith, they're trying to get it into every high school, every middle school. She is like just a focal point of the new Christianity. Now, she's basically saying, if you're upset that masked marauders are like dragging immigrants, kicking and screaming, and American citizens kicking and screaming out of their houses, out of their cars with no warrants, breaking the law, shooting them in the face, cutting their seatbelts and shattering windows and pulling them from their vehicles. If you're upset about that kind of treatment towards immigrants and or U.S. citizens, you are demonic. What? Right? What does that even mean? Okay? Because at this point, what's going on is she, as a Christian thought leader in America, is somehow so detached from actual Christianity and Jesus. She talks about him. Oh, the light of Jesus. Oh, the body of Jesus. I got to bathe in the glory of Jesus. But then literally her idea of like Satan and demonic is literally like, if you disagree with MAGA, you're demonic. It's not even about Jesus anymore, because there's no way, okay? There is no way. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what kind of Christian you are. There is no way that Jesus Christ, if he's real and is the Son of God, would look at what ICE is doing and cheer for it. There's no way. If Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the creator of humanity, watched what these ICE agents are doing to their fellow human beings, the rage, the animosity, the pure like disgust they have for human beings who are simply here trying to like have a good life, trying to do better for their family and, maybe help some people back home, Jesus would be sickened by it. He would be sickened by it. He would be like standing in front of the convoy, sacrificing his own life to prevent it. But here is what the MAGA Christian thought leader has to say.
Videos that came in to that chat, awkwardly enough, was a clip of Rachel Maddow and Jimmy Kimmel. I can't even believe I'm saying their names in a church, but together. But it was interesting because he asked her the question, do you think these protests are helping? Personally, I do not. I think it's demonic. But I understood the sentiment of what she said. She was trying to explain the 3.5% rule. And she was basically saying that, in political science jargon, she was basically saying that when you have 3.5% of the population protesting peacefully, and you're in nonviolent protest mode, it is very hard for
Dude, she's terrible at this.
To go unnoticed. And it's very hard for that to be tucked back in. It just kind of sparks.
Dude, first off, she's terrible at this. The end of 𝗙PUSA will be them continuing to let her speak, because she is like cold and unfeeling and awkward, and like her selfishness, her self-absorption just oozes from her when she speaks. She's so offensive to even look at or listen to. But there's a couple things about this from a Christian. Okay, one is she was like completely insulting the humanity of Jimmy Kimmel and Rachel Maddow, as if talking about them in church was somehow like, oh my God, they're so bad, we can't even say their names in church. Like, really? The reeking of the judgment? Like, God, she's nasty, bro. God would pick her up and spit her into the fiery pits of hell for that kind of behavior. Like, come on, bro. And then she goes in and like, oh yeah, the protests are demonic. And then she feels the need to insult the people protesting nonviolent because, oh, they're violent. Like, while excusing seemingly not being concerned about, Jonathan Ross firing a point blank bullet into the temple of a mother. I know she doesn't care about Renee Good because Renee Good was gay. So therefore these church going people think Renee Good they probably feel Renee deserved it. I'm sure they do, which we know obviously like that's not the case, but I can only imagine how they feel. You know how MAGA defends their cruelty by somehow creating the idea that the people that they're being cruel to deserve it, right? They do this, oh, she should have complied. What happened before the video started? What happened to provoke that officer's behavior? Right? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, now they're cheering for adultery. And I mean, dude, this is so out of hand, boss. It is like so like out of pocket with where they're at that the Jesus people now are completely outside of both reality and the teachings of the very prophet that they profess to like follow. I mean, isn't that crazy? Is that not like the craziest? Hold on, I got to go back to live chat here because I had to reset a window. There we go. I mean, isn't that like mind blowing? Because what I don't get, guys, is like, how did we get here? Like, how did we get here to where like this faction of Christianity, became so rigidly, aggressively like hateful and shaming and they have the right to point the finger. You know what I mean? Like, how did we get here? Because did this really happen? Did these people really get this aggro and this bent because of pronouns or because like pride flags were like sitting on the wall? I mean, I realize that there was some blowback. They never really got over segregation. Like we've talked about this before. You ready for this, guys? Love from Brooklyn. You're amazing. Dance party. You're in. Let's go. Dude, Felicia. We love it. We love Brooklyn. My son lives in Brooklyn. Let's do a dance party goal. Good call. Let's go. We're going to do dance party goal and we'll get this going. We love it. Thank you, Felicia. So guys, let me just tell you, okay? There is a misconception about 1964 and the civil rights thing, okay? The civil rights movement. I think most people, left-wing people, we look at it as like the civil rights movement is when America came to her senses and we decided to end segregation and to integrate our society and start working towards like peace and equity. But that's not what happened. That's what happened for the people in the North that were already integrated and already allowed people to live non-segregated. In the South and in the segregated areas, the deeply religious areas, they were forced to integrate. They didn't want to. They resented us for forcing. They felt like the government made them do it against their will. And they did it begrudgingly, simply to avoid prison. And they never got to a point of like wanting to be integrated. Okay? They did not. Right? Yeah, no, they're still fighting it. If you go to Mississippi, Alabama, like Southern Georgia, Jessica says in Texas, they are still, Arkansas, South Carolina, there's Florida, they're still having those battles where they want to do vouchers. They put their kids in private school. If their neighborhood school has people of color, they homeschool, yada, 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 right? They have never gotten over this. They have never forgiven us being the Democrats and or the government that when they don't control it. They have never forgiven the government and the Democrats for forcing them to integrate their society. Okay? Dude, Ella, let's get it. Glad to be here with everyone. LFG, let's go. Appreciate you, Ella. Pinky Parker says, let's go. And we got some musical symbols that obviously are making allusions to the dance party, I believe. Let's go. Dude, yeah, no, I know. Small towns are still segregated. I mean, there's a lot of segregation still in America simply due to economics and stuff. But the fact is like part of the reason why when we talk about things like white guilt or when we talk about like anti-racist concepts, these people, they literally don't have like they do have white guilt. They just don't recognize it because they're filled with rage for having been forced to integrate. Okay? They're not even close to unpacking their white guilt. Okay? I mean, they don't even realize that probably part of the reason, you ready? You ready for a mind blower here? I'm going to drop some psychological mind blowing on you. If we were really to unpack and look underneath like the white people that wanted segregation and race separation, if you really looked into it, like post the end of slavery, I bet some of it was their own white guilt. Like it wasn't even a fear or an animosity towards the people of color. It's simply being in the same space with them as a reminder of what we did to them. You know, I am certain that some generational shame is like existed in them that had more to do with their discomfort around them than anything else. Is that like their own shame, right? Like my mom had this. My mom felt guilty for not having done a better job raising us. And she was just uncomfortable being around us. She was uncomfortable. It was just so hard for her because of her own guilt and shame. You know what I'm saying? Her own complicated feelings. And she had no awareness of them, you know? And it made it awkward, dude. Yeah. You know, I mean, that shit is fucking brutal, though. What are we doing? Dude, Boogie Box, let's go Tuesday night. Appreciate you, boss. Love learning with you. Thank you, Blue Eve. I mean, we're all trying to learn together. I'm trying. But somebody said they turned their guilt into anger. And that is dude, Trump had slavery exhibit removed in Philly. Yeah, he did. And Jillian Michaels, like, tried to defend it, right? But so one of the things that's really interesting is about that thing, they turn all of their stuff to anger, right? They turn their fear is anger, their guilt is anger, their resentment is anger, their like, you know, low self-esteem, like they turn everything to anger, you know, everything. Like, can I just tell you, all right, I think I'm done for Erika Kirk for now. Okay, I'm done with her, but I will say though, guys, we do have something to contend with, and maybe I drop this in here. We're not going to go into it right now, but like this right here. You ready? Look at this. Heritage Foundation just dropped a new thing, guys. Okay, the Heritage Foundation dropped a follow-up to Project 2025. It came out about 2 weeks ago. And it's called Saving America by Saving the Family, a foundation for the next 250 years. Okay? And you can Google this, Saving America by Saving the Family. It's available at the Heritage Foundation website. It's 100 pages. But what's crazy about this is I always like to look at the search terms. But what's wild is the term that appears most in this thing is the word sex. Okay? Sex. 125 times in 100 pages, 168 pages. That's almost one per page. Okay. Now, what's wild about this, guys, is when you read this, when you look through this thing, this is all about reshaping the American family. But you know what it is, guys? It's like their plan in this is to set up a financial sponsoring system, okay, where much like the Trump account that puts $1,000 in the bank, they want to put money into an investment fund that the minute somebody's born, that then if they get married before the age of 30, they get to withdraw that investment fund. So it's basically everybody who gets married young is going to get free taxpayer money, and then they're going to get funded for homeschooling. So what they want to do is if you have a single parent at home that's homeschooling the kids, you get like several $1,000s per kid. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a fiscal system that will financially reward the way Christians are currently living, right? Where's that money coming from? Yeah, that money is coming from, our taxpayer money that they'll take away all of our social programs, right? And they'll take away every social safety net we have. Right? They'll take all that money and then they're going to invest it, provided those investments don't tank. But it's also another way of taking taxpayer money and putting it into the markets, right? And it would, of course, be invested by the government, which would, of course, be invested in companies they're all like holding stock in, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's nuts, guys. They are literally reshaping. They are trying to reshape the entire society to benefit the white Christian, like evangelical class. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Isn't that wild? Dude. Dude, isn't that crazy? Dude, yeah, people be getting married to get their money, but you have to stay together for 3 years, according to them. So you get married and 3 years later you get your money and then you immediately get divorced. But guys, they want to get rid of divorce too. They don't outright say this, but they, if you look into any evangelical system, they want divorce to be very hard. Like they want no fault divorce. They like to get rid of that shit. Okay, they try to get rid of no fault divorce. They want, once women are married, they want them trapped. They want them trapped. And I mean, this is why they want to get rid of birth control. This is why there's no abortion. I mean, because guys, 1973 was the dividing line, guys. Okay, that was when everything changed. That was the day that abortion became legal nationwide. Because let me tell you, the reason why abortion was such a huge deal is it allowed women to avoid getting into sham marriages. Okay? If you go pre-1973, literally like 60% of the marriages were like a dude asks a girl out in high school. She doesn't want to be mean, so she says yes. He gets her drunk, has sex with her, doesn't use protection. She gets pregnant. Society forced them to get married because she would be shamed or sent to a home for incorrigible women if she didn't. And then she was married for life. And that was it. She had to like wash his clothes, cook for him, and take care of his kids because he got her pregnant while drunk. Okay? They literally could just grape their way to marriage. And like there was nothing women could do. And the minute like abortion was legal, women had a right to, you know what? Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm not having this baby and I am not marrying you. I'm going to go on with my life. And that's really what bothers them more than anything is it gave women a power where they were immune to entrapment. Right? Dude, it was gross and it is gross. And dude, I lived it too. My dad did this. That's how my dad got my mom pregnant. You know what I'm saying? These groups need to be stopped. Let's go. Stop stupidity. You're not wrong, boss. And I know we could say, well, if my dad didn't entrap my mom, I wouldn't be here. But like, you know, if I wasn't here, maybe I'd be somewhere else. Or if I wasn't here, I wouldn't, you know, like, it's not like there wouldn't be somebody else, you know, here in my place. You know what I'm saying? There are many, many of us. I'm not so uniquely special that if my mom had decided not to have me, the world wouldn't have survived without me. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, dude, it's like, come on, bro. Right? Everybody's always like, well, what if you weren't here? And I'm like, what if I wasn't? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not attached to like necessity of being here. I mean, I don't want to go away now that I am here. But if I had never been born, like, I don't think I'd feel bad about it because like I wouldn't have any feelings about it. You know, I would have been born somewhere else. I would have been someone else. I probably wouldn't have been this good, but just saying. Oh, the idea that women only participate on the labor force in the 50s is so annoying. What do you mean by that, Canal? That women only participate? Dude, deep Tommy? Dude, I'm always deep, right? We're deep, boss. Deep thoughts with Jack Handy. Dude, all right, 14 and 17, baby. Man, this shit is crazy. All right? It is, dude. So yeah, we got to keep an eye out about the you know, saving America, this shit. Do I believe in reincarnation? So, I mean, so Tuesday, I don't know what I believe around that stuff. Stop stupidity. Let's go. Like, you know, what I believe, and I've said this before, I believe that, like, that our human experience, the sort of like, you know how people talk about being empaths or sensitive to energy, like deja vu or whatever, you know, our sixth sense, right? Your instinct, your intuition. I believe in energy, okay? Clots and prayers, let's go, Skya! So my experience of the world is this. And I'm not going to sell you on this, but I believe that the people who participate in religion are talking about the same thing I'm talking about. They just don't have a concept of what it really could be. So they tried to define it as this structured, controlled, ruled sort of power. Whereas I look at it as like a shared blanket that like there's the earth and all the organisms on it, and we're all alive, and we're all in this inner web, a blanket of energy. Okay, like if I go around putting negative energy into the world, that shit spreads from the people I encounter to the people they encounter to the people they encounter, and it can go all the way across the world. And in this energy is creativity, okay? Which means like ideas are not like individual generated. Like, let's look at an example, like Jeff Bezos. Okay, Jeff Bezos came up with the idea for Amazon, the bookstore. Jeff Bezos didn't come up with that idea alone because he's some genius. That idea was already out there in the energy. Somebody may have thought of that 10 years before, but they didn't have rich parents. Okay, Jeff Bezos tapped in on that idea, and he had parents who could give him 250 grand and who could raise $1 million. So he was the guy who started Amazon. But he doesn't deserve to be a multi-billionaire because that idea didn't even come from him. It was just in the ether with all the other ideas. It's like the same way that I wrote songs. I didn't write songs in as much as I tuned in to the creative energy of the world with my open heart and my experiences, and I pulled music out of it. I heard melodies that were coming from somewhere not me. Okay, I found words that were coming from somewhere not me, and then I interconnected them with my life. And it's more about tapping into that energy and participating with it than it is to like control it. Okay, right? You know? And so my thing is that's my experience with all creativity. And right? And you know what I'm saying? And so like that I've experienced that. Now, when you pray, you like speak into that energy, right? So you don't have to pray to a deity. You can simply send out like prayer into that energy, or you can meditate and you can like get bits and pieces of it as well, right? You know what I'm saying? There's like, you can do all kinds of things. You can do, you know, go into like floats and all that kind of shit. There's many ways to tap into this shit, or yoga, right? You know, chanting, you know, I mean, there's just a million ways to get in there. And some people are really sensitive to it and some people aren't. And when you look at energy like that, it is like we are all connected, and it behooves us to end all suffering, because if people are suffering around the world, that suffering is still infecting all of us. We're not immune, okay? Just because I'm not suffering, I am still engaging with the suffering of everyone else, you know? And so that's been my experience of the world, okay? And guys, I can tell you, I've had many experiences where I sit down and I commune with that energy, and then the universe brings me right to where I need to be, okay? And I'm not praying to God, and I'm not even asking for anything. I am just like opening myself up to that energy and like looking, and then that energy like guides me in a way. It's like it's a river, and you can get in it, and you can just go down the stream, and then you can get out at any time and kind of go along. Stop stupidity. Let's go, baby. Right? And that's been my experience is that, and this is part of like my confidence comes from my relationship with that energy of just knowing that if I'm lost, I can just jump into it, and it will take me somewhere, right? What happened to my arms? Nothing. That's cupping. I go see a body worker every week. And so that is just a little bit of cupping to help remove some of all this shit out of my body, boss. I get a 2-hour massage every week where I get cupping, and no, Thai massage is different. Thai massage is like pulling your body. This is just like pretty much just a regular deep tissue with cupping. Thai massage is different. You're on a mat, and the massage therapist is standing up, and they're like pulling you and stuff. Thai massage is good too. But yeah, no, I fucking sort of get all the shit out of my body every week, boss. You don't like people touching you? Oh yeah, I know there's a lot of people like that. I wish you didn't have that though, Big Den, because like there is some magic when you have a good, right? When you have a good massage therapist, they can really like, dude, she beat the shit out of me too. Dude, she did. She beat the shit out of me this week. You got nerve damage from acupuncture? That's weird. Yeah, that's like, I don't know how that was accomplished, right? But Reiki's good. Dude, whatever works for you though. I myself have been a massage and acupuncture person. That has been my thing, right? I like massage. I like acupuncture. To Katie Mullins, I'm sorry for Stop Stupidity's Pain. I completely agree with everything you're saying about energy. I think the man Jesus spoke like a Buddhist. Let's go, KD. Let's go. Oh, dude, yeah. And so guys, though, right? Dude, Chris, with 5 memberships. Let's go, baby. Oh, thank you, Chris. So, like, you know, that's my take on the world, guys. Okay? My take on the world is about, right? My take on the world is it's about energy. And that's why the wavelength and some of that Buddhist shit where either everything's coming apart or everything's coming together, sort of like I feel it, I commune with it, and I vibe with it. And I do believe religious people are tapping into that too, but they just can't really process it as being like a free-for-all, you know? And because that's just it. Like one of the things, I guess, you know, stop stupidity, let's go. I mean, when you think about it, if we do share a one energy blanket that we all commune with, that makes each of us like responsible for what we put in it. And that's a lot of responsibility. And that also means we're experiencing all the chaos of the world at any given moment and all the good of the world at any given moment. That's a lot to process, to think that like I am all of us and I am none of us and I am that like at every given moment. You know, that's pretty heavy. I mean, people usually much more like a structure of like, I'm just a little thing and there's this, you know, father figure that's going to tell me what to do, right? You know, it's like, dude, whatever the present moment contains, accept it. As if you've chosen it, it will always work with the present moment, never against it. This will miraculously change your life. Eckhart Tolle, let's go. Thank you, Ridge. Appreciate you, boss. Breaking out the Eckhart Tolle. I read that book. Fucking the one where he was on the park bench or whatever. It was a pretty good book. But so I think, you ready? So I think this. I think that you know how you get on Netflix and if you're trying to find something to watch and you don't know what you want to watch, you can get lost in like, you know what I'm saying? You can get lost in like, what do I pick? What do I pick? There's just too many choices. I think people freak out like with the concept of a shared energy because of that very fact. It's just too much for people to process, right? It's just too much for people to process, you know? You know what I'm saying? It is this idea that like we are infinite energy and all of us are. We're all infinite energy in like commingled and interwoven. I mean, dude, you can't hate anybody or really feel separate from anybody when you are part of them. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine if instead of all these religions, like, ooh, you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, you're a Jewish person, you're like this race or that race, or you're gay or you're trans. I mean, if we're all one thing, if I am you and you are me, then like you being trans is me being straight, is you being Muslim, is them being Christian, is me being an atheist. It's like, you know what I mean? Like they're literally, you can't feel other from someone when you literally are the same thing. And we forget that, man. We are like all just individual cells in one organism. That includes the planet, right? I am he is you are he is we are you are we, and we are all together. Yeah, let's go, the Beatles. Let's go, dude. Hi, Tommy. Hello, friends. What's up, Reese? Let's go. You know, and then religion and all that shit and those gender markers and all that other stuff just separates us. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, and everyone in the community, really appreciate you and all. You rock. Stop stupidity. Let's go, boss. Appreciate you too. And so the thing is, though, don't hate me for what I'm about to say. All right, but we're going to move on in a sec. But somebody said, Amy here said, not DJT. But you know what, guys? You ready for this? We all have DJT in us too. Okay, we do. It's just we don't go there. But like all those hateful and nasty people, like we have all that negativity in us as well. Any one of us could be DJT. It's just we don't, because we're not assholes. But you know what I'm saying? Like I firmly believe that all of the negativity and all of the positivity everywhere, like any of us could do it. You know, it's a nature, a nurture, some bad decision making, some cursed moves, but it's in us. It's just we don't act on it. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I can compassionately hate him. Okay, I can, dude, because I do hate Donald Trump, but I hate him compassionately, which means I hate him, but I also like feel for like the level of like angst that he's never going to have any peace. I mean, that's not going to make excuses. I'm not going to make excuses for the man, but I do, like, my heart hurts for how miserable that guy is, because he causes so much pain, dude, because he just won't look inward and like deal with this shit. Dude, stop stupidity. Let's go. Dude, and he's probably a sociopath too. Stop stupidity again. Let's go. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes. We need 3 and 3, baby. Let's secure this dance party and then we move on. We need 2 and 3. Let's go. Stop stupidity. Let's go. He was neglected. Oh, he had some issues. You know what I'm saying? That man had some issues. He had some real daddy issues, right? Dude, his dad was a fucking piece of trash. Always feel better watching your streams. Thank you, Ella. Let's go. Stop stupidity. Let's go. Dude, 𝗙cie𝗶𝗆𝗍. Let's go. Dude, 𝗙ście𝗶𝗆𝗍. Let's go. Dude, Trump is reptilian. Dude, Trump is a loaded diaper. All right, let's do that. Trump is a loaded diaper. All right, guys. So now look at this. Dude, look at this right here. This is Minneapolis, guys. Dude, peaceful. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you, boss. You are cool, dude. Blue Eve, let's go. Thank you, Blue Eve. Let's go, boss. Dude, Erika Kirk, Christians, how can you call this demonic? Look at this. It is, look at this. It's Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's 21 below zero. I know you're being sarcastic, Blunt Front, when you say they were all paid. Like, dude, I don't know where this money's coming from for all these paid protesters. Dude, 21 below zero, right? Thousands of people, okay, coming together to say, you know what? Immigrants are not our enemy. They're our neighbors. They're our friends. They're our co-workers. They're our co-inhabitants of this beautiful city. We've created a city that makes space for people from everywhere who want to come here and who want to like be a part of this community, a community that when the community is hurting, we're going to show up by the tens of thousands out in the 21 below zero weather. Like, who wouldn't want to live in Minneapolis? You know what I'm saying? If you're looking for a place to live where like those people are going to have my backs, I mean, you're seeing it. It ain't some rural town. It's like this is where you want to live, where when your city hurts, you guys come together and you fight for it. You fight for your community and your ability to live how you want to live and to take care of each other. You know what I'm saying? New York too, right? LA, Seattle, Portland, all of these big cities. They're like, these are happening around the globe in the big cities. You know what you're not seeing? You know what you're not seeing, guys? You're not seeing like, you know, 5,000 people in a small town band together, okay? You didn't see them band together when they were complaining about Joe Biden. You know what I mean? And so it's really interesting that the people that don't foster a sense of connection and community and fighting for their own, they get mad at this, okay? And now we have Christians like Erika Kirk saying this is demonic. And like, guys, I look at this and it like nearly brings me to tears. You know what I'm saying? I look at this and I'm like, God damn, bro. Like, go Minneapolis. You know what I'm saying? Like, go Minneapolis. And I see this shit in Portland too. We have this shit here too. Ridge, let's go, baby. Dude, let's go, guys. Let's fucking go, boss. All right, I want to make sure I'm caught up. Let me make sure I'm caught up. We got Ridge, and yes, okay, we're caught up. But this is amazing. Okay, now, part of me, though, feels bad, okay? And here's why I feel bad. Because Minnesota is also bearing the brunt of this pain, okay? Because they did a general strike. Everybody like basically shut down most of the businesses in Minneapolis. But what's hard about this is it's not really having that big of an effect on the national government, right? It's not really affecting the federal government. That like shutdown and that hit is affecting the local Minnesota like the Minneapolis like community, like they're having to like damage themselves in a way to make a statement because they can't really damage anything federally. I mean, they really are with the way they're standing up to ICE. They're slowing ICE down, but it's a little bittersweet to me because I love the general statement and I love the general strike, but I also know that the Minnesota businesses themselves are the ones that are getting harmed. And many of them are out there, I'm sure, taking the pain because they're fighting for it too. Because the community's already getting wrecked. You know what I mean? I mean, hear me out on this. Just the ICE raids and the terror is making it so people aren't going out. So the community and the businesses are already taking a hit. But at least this is like a unified hit that they're choosing to take. It's not being foisted upon them by the ICE agents. They're like fucking, you know, they're like making that choice. I just feel bad that we have a system that doesn't really allow us to punish the federal government, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I feel bad about, guys. It's not about these protesters, and it's not that I don't support what they're doing, because I absolutely support it. And I think it's great, and it is going to send a message, and it is going to create a sense of urgency, because obviously if this went a long time, it would affect the national government, because it would eventually affect, like, you know, tax revenue and, right, employer taxes and shit. But what I don't like, guys, is that we don't have a very legitimate way of affecting the federal government with this stuff. Okay, like what we did here in Portland during BLM, the Portland activists would like deface federal buildings. Okay, they would sometimes protesters will burn federal buildings because that's a way of affecting the federal government, causing damage to their buildings, and it ends the ability to use them, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't have a very direct route of like thwarting the federal government. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm thinking of what our next steps are. Because you've heard me float the idea of cutting off payroll taxes, okay? You know what I'm saying? You've heard me like talk about that, about how, what are we going to do? Because the federal government is doing it to us. They're saying, we're not going to give you any money. We're not going to give you disaster relief. We're not going to give you infrastructure money. We're not going to give you education money, right? Now, I've thought that the next step is for blue states to somehow commandeer the payroll taxes. Like right now, employers go and they go to a website and their payroll taxes go right to the government. But like maybe the states can take that over and the payroll taxes will come to the state. Like the states will start, we're not giving payroll taxes to the federal government anymore. Now, this could be difficult though, because the employers do this. Okay, so it's going to be hard because you'd have to force the employers to do something differently because the employers do it automatically. The states don't do it, you know? And so, but we do have to consider like a large scale way of the states being able to affect the federal government if they continue playing these games with us, you know? Because they are playing games. Katie Mullen says, when this terror's over, those of us that don't live in Minnesota and have the money need to travel there and give them our business. Oh, great idea, guys. This is a great idea. I'm going to say this right here. Absolutely. When this is over, guys, when this is over in a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, end of the election year, let's all go to Minneapolis. Let's all go there. Go there and spend like $2,000. I'm serious. Go there and go find like local artists, buy their art, go to swap meets and buy a bunch of shit, go in like to all the local businesses, Bob's Java Hut, every local business, and just go and spend money and leave like 40% tips and shit. We absolutely should. We should just pile in there and like rejuvenate them. You know what I'm saying? I think that is an amazing idea. That is one of the greatest ideas I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, dude, soft secession, yes, Blue Eve, let's go. What a great idea. Dude, and Minneapolis is great. They have really good music. They have really good coffee. They have really good art. There's like, you know, I mean, the downtown is really interesting because they have all these walkways between buildings. So like downtown there, you can go from office building to office building without going outside. There's like walkways that connect buildings that go over the street. It's like really fucking cool. It's a really crazy fucking skyways. Yeah, it's really neat. And I've been there, I don't know, 20 times, right? It's a great fucking space. And we need to boycott Trump's individual donors like 𝗙𝗫𝗍𝗍𝗪 week or month. Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea too. But yeah, I really like Minneapolis, right? I did. I really liked Minneapolis. It was a very cool space. And I also liked, you know, also in Minnesota, Duluth was really cool too. If you ever get a chance to go to Duluth, I highly recommend it. Dude, there's like in the winter there's like steam coming out of the manholes and shit. It's like really crazy right on fucking Lake Superior. And there's just a vibe there, dude, that like, you know, the old shipping port town, really crazy. A lot of brick buildings. I mean, there's a ton of brick buildings in the Midwest, but Duluth is like really crazy fucking, you know, it's amazing. Your cousin's getting married in Duluth. Dude, I really like Duluth. And what's more, I don't know what it's like now, but back in the early 2000s, I used to play shows in Duluth, and there was a whole network of like anarchists, if you will, that I'm sure are part of this protester group. But what they were like, anarchists is not the right word for them because they were law abiding, but they were like, they lived sort of a little bit off the grid, okay? And they were, you know, they used to go and like raid the trashes of like the breweries and the food processing companies and shit. And they would pick up all the merchandise that people like threw away. And so they had several like freezers and refrigerators filled with shit that they all got for free that was not good enough to be sold. And then they kept that for themselves and their community and for bands. Bands would show up and would play and they would feed them and give them food and give them beers and all this shit. And they would like take all this free shit and recycle it and give it to people who were like moving through the city. Okay. And it was really, there was like a sense of community that was like beyond their house. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was their house, but there were many houses in Duluth that were like that. And then there was a whole network of independent bands that were integrated into that group of people. And we would play shows at coffee shops or houses like all over the country. And you could always stay there. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be from, you know, Kentucky. And if you were in Duluth, you could show up there. And if you knew people in the network, like it was open to you. And it was just really, yeah, no, Food Not Bombs is really interesting. I was supposed to play a show for Food Not Bombs on my birthday in Virginia, and the show actually got canceled. Like it was, dude, that was crazy. Food Not Bombs. Yes, that is the fucking vibe for sure. I was tapped into a lot of those sort of networks, you know. Because I'm a scruffer a little bit, but I'm also like, I love a 5-star hotel too, right? I like both, man. I mean, I'm down with, you know, with dumpster dived, like, you know, fucking beverages and shit and fire spinning around a fire in a fucking handcrafted like log house. And I'm down for a 5-star hotel. I'll take all of it as long as the people, like, as long as I'm with people that are like, you know, have passion. That's really like, I just want to be around people that have the passion to try and change the world, you know what I mean? Like, it's about that passion of not trying to control the world, but trying to like evolve the world, right? I mean, do you notice? I think if you look at left wing, right wing, it is like left wing is kind of like, let's change. Let's be different. Oh, you want some new genders? Okay. You want to experience sex and relationships in a new way? Yeah, let's do it. Should we redo the education system? Why not? Learn something new. Change the energy we're using. Like, let's change the way we farm. Let's just like completely redo it, right? And then the right wing is like, no. Let's stop changing. No, let's go back to the way it was. We got to reverse this. No. You can't have any new genders. You can't change the education system. Nope. We're sticking with gas and coal because that's what we've been doing. Like, we got to, no. Right? No. We got to go back and we got to restrict it and make sure we don't change. But like, guys, like the natural order of things is constant and revolutionary change. Okay? If you look at it, right? The planet is always changing, and sometimes massively, right? There's a big rain and half the mountain just mudslides, dude. Half a mountain is gone. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it is constant and revolutionary change, man. You know what I mean? It is. That's the natural order of things, you know? And you're right, though, what Leslie is saying, that's why Republicans will fail. Ultimately, it is. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, it is. It is why Republicans will fail. Is because you can't, you can't stop the change forever, guys. Right? Even when you oppress, eventually there's a revolution. And there always has been. There has been no oppressed society that has been oppressed forever. The revolution always happens. It's just a matter of time. It could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years. The revolution and the shattering of that oppression is going to happen. It is unavoidable, unstoppable. Okay? You're right. You can't not evolve. Exactly. You can't. You can't not do it, you know? Even the devil can't stop it, dude. The devil's in on it. Oh, I'm stretching. Oh, dude, look at that. Dude, I look like I work out, don't I? I don't even work out, guys. This is still from being a championship swimmer fucking like 33 years ago. Isn't that crazy that I still have a physique from 33 years ago? That's wild, boss. I was quite the athlete, though. I was. Although I used to work out like 10 years ago. I did work out a bit 10 years ago. And you know, full page ads. Oh, let's go. All right. That was good to see. Do muscle memory. Oh, let's go. But yeah, so guys, this is inspiring. All right. Thousands of protesters shut down parts of Minneapolis, St. Paul as hundreds of businesses closed and workers and students stayed home to demand an end to the sweeping immigration crackdown that has roiled the Twin Cities for weeks. And guys, let's be honest about this. Okay. I don't like this terminology, the sweeping immigration crackdown, because guys, Trump is attacking Minneapolis, okay? The federal government, under the direction of Donald Trump and his minions, has attacked Minneapolis. They sent in 3,000. Guys, if we look at the numbers, you ready for this? Look at this shit, guys. Let me just show you. And I looked up these numbers, guys. You ready? Watch this. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, let me find the numbers here. The numbers are right here. Red State, Texas, 2.1 million undocumented. Florida, 1.6 million undocumented. In Minnesota, 130,000. 5% of Texas, right? 10% of the number of Florida, okay? So they sent 3,000 ICE agents into a town that has 1/10 or 1/20th of the number of undocumented people as like these other big red states. Isn't that insane? And no, these numbers, I looked them up. I actually looked them up. This is like, dude, it is crazy. They're not going into the I mean, obviously they don't have exact numbers because, you know, but Minnesota, they all actually have a pretty good idea of how many undocumented people there are, right? But there's hardly any undocumented people in Minnesota. It's like a really small number because this is an attack on Minnesota. It's an attack on Tim Walz. It's an attack on a state that's been very critical of Donald Trump, that has voted against him and fought against him and resisted his aggression and refused to comply. And this in many ways, right? They refuse to throw transgender people under the bus. They refuse to, you know, throw immigrants under the bus, and they refuse to like lick the boot. You know what I mean? But they're not sanctuary cities, they say. Ah, yes, I know. They do like to say that. Thank you, Aerith. We appreciate you. But guys, can I just tell you though, you ready for this? So sanctuary cities, guys, have been around since the 80s. Okay? You with me? Sanctuary cities are not new. Okay? Sanctuary cities existed in the 80s before ICE was even around. All right? And all a sanctuary city has been is the thing about sanctuary cities is they define the way they comply with the federal immigration laws or the federal immigration, like whatever the federal immigration agenda is. The sanctuary city says, well, here's where we'll work with you and here's where we won't. And up until Trump, okay, the cities and the federal government had an honor program where they respected the right of cities to be sanctuary cities. Why? Because the city knows what it needs locally. The city knows how to take care of its residents. So we respect, right? And we do this in other ways. Marijuana, same way. The federal government, can you imagine? Okay, can you imagine all the Republicans here in Oregon or in California or in Colorado? What would they think if ICE rolled in and started going like car to car, testing them if they were on marijuana? And like, you're breaking federal law. You guys, they're waiting outside the dispensary. You walk out with your weed and they drag you to the ground and kick you in the face and fucking carry you in, you know, and ship you off to Louisiana for breaking marijuana law. You think any of the red voters would agree to that? Like, they like the dispensary. Who are they fucking kidding? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, that's the same shit. And you ready for the real clincher? It is more illegal federally to smoke marijuana, to have marijuana on you, than it is to be undocumented. Actually, possessing marijuana is illegal federally. Being undocumented is not. But again, there's an agreement there that states have a right, all right? It's against the law federally, but if states want to develop their own thing, the government has an agreement with them. Yeah, we're not going to come and raid you. You know what I'm saying? And so they've had the same thing with sanctuary cities, all right? This new policy with Trump is about his retribution, and it's about him. He is upset that he went to jail. He is upset that Mar-a-Lago got raided after he stole classified documents. He is upset that he has, you know, borne the brunt of his own behavior. And so now everybody who is against him is one of the people that did that to him. And so now he wants vengeance. Okay? He wants vengeance. Still illegal in Washington to grow? Interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not illegal here to grow, but it is like, you know, you have to like have a like licensed facility and all that. Although what it is here is I think here it's just ignored, right? You know what I'm saying? I think here it is just ignored. I don't know what the exact law is, but I know in Oregon, like nobody's even worried about marijuana, you know, but it had kind of, I'll be honest, guys, it had kind of been ignored prior to that, because before marijuana was legal here, I worked at a bar, and like all of the growers, like there were so many growers, guys, in Portland, like probably in all of Oregon. Like these guys, when it became legal, it wasn't like new people were starting pot businesses. When it became legal here, there were people that had already had 10 grow houses for 20 years. It was literally people that had been doing this their whole life, and they just finally didn't have to worry about getting any chance of getting busted. But you know what it was though, guys? You know the way it was in Oregon? There was really no worry of getting arrested by the cops. The way it was with marijuana in Oregon before it was legal is you were worried about another grower stealing your shit. Okay? That's what the real worry was. The real worry was that other growers would find out where your houses were, and they would try to steal your fucking product or fucking strong arm your product and shit. And so that was the primary worry, was other growers. And so what happened is, believe it or not, guys, you ready for this? Making it legal eliminated a bunch of crime. Okay? Because what happened is, prior to being legal, there were a lot of break-ins and people holding each other up with guns that really went unreported for the most part. But there was a lot of theft and shit like that existed. And once it became legal, that sort of behavior was no longer necessary, because everybody could just expand. Because prior to that, you couldn't really expand because everybody was fighting for this little hidden underground territory. And that's a lot. I think there's a lot of that with some of that drug trade. You know what I mean? Yeah, no honor among thieves. Dude, yeah, now you have cops protecting you. It's true. It's true. Right? I mean, dude, I just think this shit is fucking, I think it's just better off being legal, right? He's a manager for a dispensary. Let's go. Minnesota girly, welcome. Dude. Let's go, man. Dude. Yeah, dude, marijuana is not a problem, boss. If we're going to look at a drug that is a problem, that is socially acceptable, like it's alcohol, let's be real, okay? I don't smoke marijuana. I've been sober 18 and a half years, okay? But I've done all the drugs, okay? I've done my time with pretty much all of them. I've done basically every major drug except PCP. I never dabbled in that shit. And, it's because I just never ran across it, but I probably would have tried it had I run across it. But I'd heard some horror stories, so maybe I wouldn't have, but I tried everything else. And yeah, I dabbled in everything else. But what I will say is that one of the most destructive is alcohol, like hands down. Just rampant effects. Now that being said, the opiates and crack cocaine are also extraordinarily destructive, and methamphetamine, they're extraordinarily destructive. Okay, but it's different though, because you can see the damage. And I don't know, when somebody goes off the rails on crack or heroin or an opiate, you can see that they're crashing. But the thing about alcohol is you can't see it, man. People build up a tolerance and they become functional alcoholics, and they become aggressive and violent and domestically violent, and they get in car wrecks and they ruin relationships, and they beat their kids and then they just go about their regular life the next day, and you don't even know. I mean, if you know, if you're in the know, you might look and see that they have swollen hands, and you might see the red skin and know that, oh, that guy's flush because that guy's a late stage alcoholic. If you know what you're looking for, you know how to spot it. But a lot of people are just functional, man, and that's really fucking crazy. You know what I mean? It's really crazy. Oh, just a lot of abuse, dude. But all right. But yeah, man, I'm proud of Minnesota, boss. I am. I am proud of Minnesota. And businesses, many of them locally owned, closed their doors to halt economic activity, saying that losing a day's revenue was worth the cost to be part of the effort to end the immigration enforcement. There's a time to stand up for things, and this is it, said Allison Kerwin, owner of Al's Breakfast, a Minneapolis restaurant that closed on Friday. If it takes away from a day of our income, that is worthwhile. The day of protest followed weeks of clashes between Minnesotans and federal agents, mostly in Minneapolis and St. Paul. The immigration operation, which started late last year, has led to some 3,000 arrests, at least 2 shootings in Minneapolis, and chaotic scenes on the streets. Dude, let's go, man. And it's like 20 below zero, boss. And they are out there fighting. Dude, I love these guys. I do, man. I love protesters. And guys, I used to protest more when I was younger. I don't protest a lot now because I'm a 50-year-old content creator. And so my protest I do online, I do having a channel, I do trying to open minds and you know, taking the heat of being a public figure. But dude, I respect the hell out of the people that are in the trenches and on the streets. You know, they're so important. Like, these people are so much more important than what I'm doing, but you need what I'm doing too. But like, this is the really important work, man. And I do go out occasionally. We did go out during Black Lives Matter with the whole family. And you know, we locked arms with the Wall of Moms. And it was really like, it was powerful, man, to see a bunch of federal agents with their riot gear and shit and like to move them back. Like, we had crowds of people that moved them back. There were just so many of us that they couldn't even bully us. And it was amazing. It was amazing to be a part of because they didn't belong here. They had no business being here. That was more of Trump's fucking horse shit. You know what I'm saying? It was more of Trump's like little I'm your daddy fucking nonsense. You know? Your first arrest was at the Nevada nuclear site. Let's go. 89, dude, let's go. And I remember being parts of like, you know, some shit in San Francisco and stuff in the 90s when, you know, when people were, you know, getting super expressive about like gay rights and shit. And they were constantly making their fucking voices heard. Right. And right? Good Trouble. Yeah, dude, he's out there. I know a lot of these younger content creators are all going to Minnesota. And I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? I think that's great. I'm not going. I'm staying here. Right? I'm staying here, but like, you know, I wish I was fucking 30 years younger. Dude, I do. I wish I was in my 20s. If I was in my 20s, I would probably be there. If I was doing this at 20. Dude, I love it. They're all fucking cruising there. But guys, can I just tell you though, that like, oh dude, there's the skyways that I was talking about that connect the buildings. It's amazing, right? But look at them, dude. It's like 21 below zero. And I saw a comment that, you ready? I saw a comment that I don't know if you guys saw, but I want to paraphrase it for you because it was about ICE like choosing Minneapolis, because you've seen the videos of like the ICE agent falling on the ice and you see these guys stumbling around and shit. They're chasing people in the snow and they can't catch people and they don't know what they're doing. But what is crazy about this is the thing I saw was like somebody saying, you know, you guys shouldn't have chosen like winter people during winter, right? It was like, what a colossal fuck up, right? What a colossal fuck up was it for them to go to this place that like they're not equipped to handle. And the people there in Minnesota, they handle this shit day in and day out, bro. They eat this weather alive, dude. This shit is nothing to them. There's 10,000 people out protesting. It's fucking 21 below zero because they don't give a shit. And the ICE agents don't even know how to like react in this weather, bro. And they're cold and they're awkward. Hold on, we got to refresh. We blew out the fucking chat, boss. They're cold, they're awkward, they're out of their element, right? They're like, nobody likes them. Like, oh my God. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Nobody likes them. Have you seen the video I made today? There were some more clips of them. These guys can't go anywhere without getting harassed, bro. They try to get gas, they get shut down, they get kicked out of coffee shops, out of Target, out of restaurants. They are like, everywhere they go, they just get surrounded. Like even the Fox News report was like, dude, anytime ICE goes into a gas station or tries to go into a mini mart, there's like 50 people that surround them. Dude, it is amazing. I think that's amazing. And you ready for this, guys? I'm hoping we, somewhere along the line, we develop some type of database of who these agents are, because I think that type of protest should continue. I think that, you know, after the administration goes, if we know who they are, I think we should continue to protest them. I think a continued protest would be, you know, I'm thinking 10 years, right? 10 years of protest and you know, right? Don't you think 10 years seems like a reasonable amount of time, dude? Social punishment, social protest. Yeah, don't mention the names of any doxing sites though, because again, I don't condone doxing or anything like that. I can't condone any of that. We live by the rules of the land here. But I think if we find out who some of these people are, like, you know, if a little birdie tells you or something, if you don't dox, but you do discover by some other, you know, reasonable and legal method, right? No, we're not going to DDoS. Thank you, coyotes. We can't, hold on, we got to remove that one. We can't have any of that nonsense in here. But you know what I'm saying? I think 10 years of protest would be good, right? I think. But yeah, man, this guys is really inspiring. But while this is going on, can I just say, while this is going on, look what else is going on, okay? Because Jessie Waters said some shit today that was just way off the chain, okay? Look at this clip, okay? Look at this clip, guys, okay? Because here's what we're dealing with, okay? We are dealing with 3,000 federal agents masked and storming into a city. And they're not just grabbing immigrants, they're hunting people. They're doing warrantless searches. They're breaking the law. They've shot a woman to death. They're beating up citizens. They're beating up people and leaving them in parks and shit. It is just like a reign of terror. And then you have a major news host like Jessie Waters and you know, a guy was just murdered in Texas. And look at what he says here. Look at his response.
You're also saying that someone was murdered at a detention facility. It's already been debunked weeks ago. Oh. The guy was trying to commit suicide, and the people were trying to save his life. All right? These detention centers are amazing. You get dental care. You get free health care. Have you ever seen the kind of concierge health care services they have at these detention facilities?
Yeah.
It's where did this guy come from? This guy came from Ecuador without any running water, Jessica. He's lucky to have these types of services. Let me just understand your position.
Look at that. You see that? So this guy says, like, why are you even complaining about this guy dying? Because he's from Ecuador where they don't have running water. He is lucky to be in a detention center. Like, how can he even say that? You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, he doesn't even think, right? He doesn't even think like that guy's a human being, right? You're lucky to be in prison. You're lucky. I mean, guys, you know, what mentality does that remind you of? There's something that is real American that reminds me of. And you know what that is? You want to venture a guess of the type of mentality I'm talking about? Right? American, yes. Thank you. Regulated said it. Slave owner. Exactly. That is the slave owner mentality. They're lucky to have the cabin and the food I provide them. They're lucky for all 17 of them to have that cabin. Like they got a wood stove in there. They're damn lucky to have like 3 meals a day, right? You know what I mean? That is the slave owner mentality, 100%, man. That is so brutal. Like, so brutal. It's so toxic. And I mean, dude, he was just on a bender today, dude. He was on a bender of saying, like, incredibly toxic shit. Okay? Incredibly toxic shit. You know? Dude. Dude, these detention centers are amazing. And you know what's crazy about it too, though? Did you see that thing? This guy makes, like Jesse Waters, he makes like $5 million a year, guys. Okay? He makes like, this guy makes like $5 million a year to say this crap. 5 million. That is like insane. Isn't that nuts to just say like this nasty shit? Like, dude, for the life of me, I don't understand it. But you ready for this though? You ready for this? Is I think what's even more alarming than Jesse Waters is that like millions of people tune into this and watch this and are like, yeah, right? There are people that agree with this, that watch this and are like, yeah, he is lucky. Like, we don't have to feel bad that one of them died because he's lucky to even like have that. Like, we're feeding him. He's heralding the dental care. Dude, none of these guys are getting dental care or health care. What is he even talking about? We've already seen many reports of people not getting appropriate health care and not even getting medicine and shit when they're sick. Dude, like, what is he even talking about? Dude. And you know this guy too? You know what else this guy did? You want to know the kind of person Jesse Waters is? Is he openly talked about how when he took like one of his coworkers, a woman that he wanted to go home with, and he really wanted to get up on this woman and she didn't want to have anything to do with him, so he let the air out of her tires so she would be forced to ride home with him. Okay? So he's grapey too. Okay? He is a grapey like weirdo. That shit is weird, bro. That is fucked up. Is that his wife? No way, dude. Oh no, that was while he was married. Yeah, that woman is now his wife. Get out. But he was married to someone else? Dude, that shit is so creepy. So creepy, dude. Let's find the truth here. Hold on, we're going to find the truth. We're going into AI mode. Oh, it is with his wife now. 𝗪𝗙𝗪𝗀. Let's see what his wife looks like. There they are. Yikes. Dude, can you imagine being married to him? I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I guess she's got to be like Melania, right? There's one for everybody, you know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Dude, that shit is so creepy. Dude, these guys are so creepy, right? Hey, man. Dude, there's a lot of warped people. Did she look young? I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't get too, like, flipped out about the age thing because Jenny's definitely younger than me, right? So I don't get too worked up about that. I mean, I do if it's like 30 years. I think 30 years gets a little weird, right? Like if I was 50 and dating a 20-year-old, that'd be a little weird, right? You know what I'm saying? That would definitely be a little weird, but like, you know, some people are like young souls, you know? I think. Go back to the photo. Look at his foot propped out. Yeah. Dude, I'm not going back to that photo. I've seen enough of them. I mean, they're definitely weird, though. You know? I mean, they are, dude. They are definitely weird. She was 25, so 14-year gap. See, 14 years isn't that big of a gap. I think 14 years is totally doable. Some people are like young souls, guys. You know, I think like for me, I mean, you may see this. I don't know if you guys see this, but when you go into my comments, okay, you go into my comments of YouTube and you'll see a lot of people in there that will say like, quit trying to act like you're 16 or whatever. They say that to me all the time. And you know, I got that a lot in the gaming. Like, why are you acting like you're fucking 16 or whatever? But like, I'm not acting like I'm 16. I'm just a rock and roller dude. And I've always been like this. I am like, I don't know. I have a young rebellious energy that sometimes people my age feel like it's too much energy because I am like, you know, I'm manic and I'm rock and roll. And you know what I'm saying? I cut the fucking sleeves off all my shirts and I just am, you know, kind of like a fucking surfer dude who in some ways like never grew up, but in other ways I'm like incredibly mature, but I'm not like trying to be young. I literally am just like how I always am, right? I've always been like this. I've always been sort of one age, which is like, you know, like it's like my inner child is always with me. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it is. It's like my responsibility is separate from the fact that like my inner child, my like, let's get in the sandbox and play and like explore and let's put paint on our hands and paint the walls with it. Like that part of me is like always present. That part of me never goes away. And yeah, dude, I don't listen to him. I don't even respond to that shit. You know what I'm saying? What do you think Asmongold's body count is? Dude, I think Asmongold's body count is like, you'd have to ask the local morgue, right? If you want that information, bro. Let's be honest, dude. Dude, it is a fleshlight, right? Oh, shit. Flashlight, I meant to say, right? Flashlight. Sorry. Right? Oh, Lord have mercy. Shh. Shh. Let's go. Dude, he is like, that guy is so gross. There's a big scandal about him too. But so guys, the general strike, let's see, did Trump respond to this at all? Was there any response about the general strike in Minnesota? Let me see if we have any response here. Because one thing I did notice, guys, was this. You love me, never grow up. I'm never growing up, guys. Don't worry. And you know what's more, though? You ready for this? I found somebody who likes my energy. Like, that's really important. Because I have had plenty of relationships where people are just like, dude, you just maybe a little too much energy for me. But like Jenny appreciates it. You know, she appreciates it. which is good. But so here's what I did see, guys, is have you seen anyone reacting to Minneapolis today? Because one of the things I saw was, of course, on Nick the 𝗙cie𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗧𝗏. Look at what this guy wrote, dude. You ready? Look at this shit. Look at this. Just look at this post, okay? Look at this post, guys. It says, breaking. A Biden-appointed judge has just ordered the release of 2 of 3 violent leftists who orchestrated the attack on the St. Paul Church. If we don't remove leftist activists from the judiciary, we don't have a country. Orchestrator 𝗙់_𝗏𝗡 as well as Chantel Allen are now free to terrorize again. Okay, but now, guys, first off, we saw the video with Don Lemon. There was no violence. There was no violence. Nobody was attacked or beaten or dragged to the ground. No, nothing was broken. No chairs were even moved. They didn't even disturb any property. No vandalism, nothing. There was absolutely, I mean, there was maybe a little bit of yelling. There was some chanting, and there may have been some people going in there and saying, how can you live yourselves? How can you live with yourself? But look at this line here. He says, orchestrator 𝗙់_𝗏𝗡 and Chantel Allen are free to terrorize again. Dude. Are free to terrorize again. Bro. Like, dude. MAGA. You guys are soft. Okay? I'm sorry, MAGA, but you guys are soft. Right? You are. Right? You guys are crybabies. Dude, they are crybabies. Like literally, some chanters come into your church or whatever, they're protesting and you terrorized. You're terrorized. Like, bro, this is so insane. Now, I did read him the riot act. I'm not going to go into it because if you want to go to Nick Sortor's tweet, you can go in there and you can read what I wrote. I was, you know, I used some fresh language in that comment, but I essentially said, like, you know, I think you guys need to find a new country, right? Like, you guys should consider, like, removing yourself from our territory, you know, because it's like you're just too soft. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you exist in a normal society? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're so soft, dude. They're so soft. Yeah. All right. But yeah, dude, that shit is wild, boss. Free to terrorize again. But so you may have noticed this, okay? I don't know if you've noticed this, but guys, this has been a strong part of the right-wing narrative. Have you guys noticed them using this? If we don't remove leftist activists from the judiciary, we don't have a country. And this goes back to El Salvador because that's what Bukele did. That's how Bukele took control of El Salvador, as he got rid of their Supreme Court. He basically, what happened was he just broke the law and he got rid of all of their Supreme Court and replaced them with his people. And so then he became the judiciary, and then he was able to do whatever he wanted, and the Supreme Court ruled for him. And they have been actively, right? They have been actively, like, campaigning for this. This is something they really, really want, these right-wing influencers. I don't know if they actually want it or if they're getting paid to do this, but this is really a big thing that they want to fill the Supreme Court with, like, you know, Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, and right, they want the Supreme Court to be Trump, Miller, Elon Musk, Kristi Noem. No, they wouldn't even let Elon because he's not extreme enough. It would be Trump, Miller, and Kristi Noem would be like the court Or maybe the court is just Donald Trump, right? That's it. The Supreme Court is now Donald Trump. Yeah, I'll take a rain check on that. Right? Now, one other thing I do want to address, guys, while we're doing this, is we do have to look at the pastors, okay? There were, and this is what is crazy, because we saw Erika Kirk's comment about the protests being demonic, but like, look at what happened in, hold on, we're going to have to revisit that, but look at what happened in, there were 100 pastors, okay? Oh, here's a pastor confronting a cop, dude. Dude, that's too much music there. I can't hear anything. But let's find the pastors today. There were 100 pastors, okay, right here. Let's find one that is not from these weird rags. Okay, we're gonna find one. There were some ministers, some clergy, okay? Right here. Here it is, okay? It says over 100 priests arrested in Minneapolis for protesting ICE in Minnesota, where it's minus 21 degrees outside the airport. The clergy gathered in prayerful solidarity to demand the airlines stop supporting this stuff. Okay, especially Delta and Signature Aviation. They want them to not contract with DHS. Over 2,000 deportations have gone through Minneapolis, St. Paul. Now, guys, this is what Erika Kirk is saying is demonic. Isn't that crazy? This is what Erika Kirk says is demonic. Dude, this guy's got his prayer, like, scarf on, bro. Look at him. Dude, they're arresting, like, Erika Kirk says protesting ICE is demonic. And now we have ICE arresting ministers, men of God, wearing their prayer scarves and shit. And why are they there? They're there because they're saying, like, be good to the immigrants the way Jesus said. And, right? And yeah, I think these are, looking at the thing, the police, it looks like they are. Let's take a look at it. Plymouth police, right? And so let's see what that is. So they are the local police that I guess where airport, that service the airport. So they are that because they were like shutting it down, right? So they were the local cops doing their duty. Now, no police from Minneapolis would do that shit. Okay? None of them. None of the police from Minneapolis would fucking touch this shit. But Plymouth, I guess, whatever local police fucking, you know what I'm saying? I imagine it's a podunk, right? Yeah, so Delta Airlines, guys, has been running these contracts, okay? Delta and I guess Signature Airlines. But Delta Airlines, what they were protesting is that Delta Airlines, some of the airlines are taking money, okay, are taking money from the DHS. They're doing contracts to fly these immigrants out of, right? They're taking passenger planes and they're giving them to DHS to fly immigrants to Texas. That's what they're doing. So they're getting paid. And again, though, this is part of this, like how, guys, this is a business, okay? This is a business. They're making money renting their planes to DHS. Delta is. And then whatever rental car place is renting them cars. And so, yeah, dude, I never fly Delta anyway. Delta's had a lot of issues. I don't fly Delta, but if you want to boycott Delta, I think that's definitely a worthwhile endeavor. They may come out against it, but yeah, man. So Plymouth police, I'm curious about this. Other people are asking about this. So interesting. So they don't. So here I'm guessing. So this is interesting, right? Because it's not saying, but so let me see. Okay, all right, so now I see what it is. All right, so here's what I can divine by that. By looking at Plymouth police, my guess is this, is they were protesting at the airport and none of the police, right? None of the police that were in Minneapolis or St. Paul would engage, okay? I think it was the fact that none of the local police would do anything about this. So they went and found a suburban police force from Plymouth, 12 miles out of the city, and brought them in to engage in the arrest. Because I'm sure it's like none of the local police would do this, right? They just won't help. So why would Plymouth be there? I would imagine they were the only police force that would do it, right? They're probably from a reddish outskirts part of town, and they don't have a problem like helping ICE and or like thwarting protesters. But the Minneapolis police certainly weren't going to do that. They weren't going to arrest those guys. Like, they're totally chill. But if they need to arrest them, the airport's going to find somebody, right? I'm sure they went looking, and some of those like tiny police forces, right? Like if we look at Plymouth, Minnesota, right? We could look at it, look at the demographics. Let's see what we got here. Plymouth, Minnesota. Let's go look at their Wikipedia page. So it's a city, a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And what do we got? How white is this suburb, right? 91% white. There you go, dude. Okay, 91% white suburb. And what's the median income is $77,000, right? The median family income is $90,000. So it's a white money neighborhood. And they're like, yeah, we'll go arrest these guys, dude. I mean, you could literally, I probably could have told you that without even looking at it. It's the white capitalists live in Plymouth, And so their police force is like, yeah, we got you, boss. Anti-capitalists, let's run them up. Dude. We didn't even need to look, but I guess we confirm it by looking. But you just know what you're getting. So that's why Plymouth police force were there. Ta-da! Right? Dude. So, you know what I'm saying? At least half of Plymouth are rental apartment buildings. Yeah, but that's always like that, though. Right? When you have a small suburb like that, there's one area that has all the money, and then there's another area that is just filled with apartment buildings, which is all the people that provide the luxury life for all the people with the money, right? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the way a lot of the suburbs, you have like the fancy area where all the rich people live, and then you have a more urban spot where all the people that clean their houses and fill the restaurants and work on the roads and, like, you know what I'm saying, and work all the other businesses around. Same with New York, right? You go to New York and Manhattan is a bunch of wealthy white people, and then you go out in the boroughs and it's all like poor people and people of color that go into Manhattan and fucking clean the office buildings, work in the restaurants, work in the subway, right? It's like they commute to the city to take care of a bunch of wealthy people, you know? It's pretty fucking, and dude, 90,000 income for a suburb of Minneapolis is pretty high, dude. 90,000 is pretty high. Dude, Portland is very white, dude. Dude, Portland is very white. Portland is like diverse in other ways, in like sex and gender, but we're not super diverse. We are diverse compared to the outskirts of Portland. And in the city, it's like a little bit diverse, but Oregon in general has a real like lack of diversity issue. It's like the one thing that I think kind of sucks about Portland is the lack of racial diversity. And it's because Oregon historically had, it was a whites only. When they gave away the land, right? Oregon, it was in the Constitution, guys, which is why like, there's like a real push now to try and expand the diversity here and trying to like to make some sort of recompense with the native people, because like our Oregon's history is toxic, right? It was whites only. If you're white, you come and you get free land. And if you're not white, you don't come. And that was in the Constitution, guys. And it is still like, you know, it is something that Portland grapples with, but they're trying. You know, they're trying, right? And Portland is like the diverse area of all of Oregon, but a lot of Oregon is like white, you know? And that is the one thing that is a little bit hard to get used to, you know, it is. And like I said, though, we moved into a mixed race neighborhood and then we accidentally like gentrified it because I didn't realize what happens when white people move into a mixed race neighborhood. I mean, you can move into a mixed race neighborhood if you're white and you're poor, but if you're white and you have a little bit of money and you move into a mixed race neighborhood and you fix your house, all of a sudden you start kicking out your neighbors, right? Without even intending to. Like once you raise the property values by fixing your house, dude, it's fucked up. Like once I bought a house, I was like, oh my God. Like, what are we doing in America? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I came in to, like, I went into a neighborhood to be a friend and a, you know, have some diversity and experience like a diverse part of town. And I discovered that I was automatically an imperialist. Like I was a colonizer just by showing up and fixing my house. And no, the Oregon Constitution, they got rid of that. They got rid of that, and they are actually like working pretty hard to expand diversity. And in the city, they do. Like in the city, there's a fair amount of like diversity in the city compared to the outskirts. Some of the neighborhoods there's not, but it's definitely gotten better. You know, so I have like unintentionally gentrified multiple neighborhoods in Portland. All right. I'm on my third gentrification of neighborhoods by either moving there, like, or buying a house there. Yeah, it sucks, dude. It fucking sucks, bro. Oregon is like, I mean, it's a work in progress, you know? But that's also, though, why I don't plan on staying here forever, you know? You know what I'm saying? Your neighborhood got gentrified within the last 7 years when Whole Foods, yeah, I mean, Whole Foods is a sign, right? Eastern Oregon sucks. Eastern Oregon does suck. It's pretty. I like the desert, but it sucks. Eastern Oregon sucks. The only place that I like that's not here is I like the coast, right? The coast is really nice. And I like the Alvord Desert, which is like the southeastern corner of Oregon. All right. There's an area called the Alvord Desert that is like an alkaline desert that's similar to the playa they have Burning Man on. It's one of those cracked alkaline, like fucking, like playas. And no, this is beyond Bend. Oh, you like Bend? I don't really like Bend. I mean, I haven't been to Bend in a while, but Bend felt a little bit like a retirement community to me when I was there. But it's called, no, it's the Alvord. It's called this. You know, I'll see if I can find an images of it. It's amazing. They have hot springs. Right? You ready? You ready for this? I made a movie there, dude. This shit was badass, bro. Look at this shit. It's like, it's a fucking desert playa, right? Miles of it. And it's like, you go out there and it's like alkaline, which feels really good to my skin. A lot of people, they get that dust on them and it doesn't agree with them. But I go out there and get that dust on my body and it feels nice, dude. It feels really good. It gets really windy out there and it's pretty severe, but you know, people go camping and dirt biking there. We made a movie there. We were living in tents. It's amazing. And it's really, really fucking, really cool. Like, it's really fucking cool, dude. This is a great image of it, dude. Let me see there. That one. That's a good one. It is like fucking spectacular. It's surrounded by mountains and it is just miles of cracked like playa. And you can drive your car out there. Like I had my minivan out there just doing donuts and shit. And dude, it's pretty awesome. It's really something special. Yeah, it's like a salt flat sort of, but it's dirt, right? It's not like SLC. It's actually dirt, but it's that really bassy, non-acidic, like chalky dirt that is really, you know, it's really spectacular. And there's really tiny towns around there and there's hot springs and it's pretty cool. It's the one spot in Oregon that I fucking dig. And dude, it looks amazing too at like sunset. Like it picks up the color and shit, but it's pretty spectacular. And what it is, you know what it is? You know how somebody see they have like hot springs and shit, but somebody said about how you go into Eastern Oregon, right? When you go into Eastern Oregon, it gets like pretty racist. When you get out towards Idaho and shit, it gets pretty racist, right? But then if you go like southeast, okay? If you go southeast to where the Alvord Desert is, it's like so far out and it's so like out of the way that the tiny groups of people that are out there are like dealing with tourists all the time. So they're like, it becomes like not racist again in a way. I mean, if you go to where there's a town, it'll be a little more of the Eastern Oregon vibe. But the really small areas are like people that deal with tourists all day long. So they're really jovial, like anything goes kind of people in the really tiny areas. And it's kind of weird how that happens. How like the big cities have a certain type of acceptance and the towns with like 10 people have a certain type of acceptance. It's the towns with like 1,000 to 3,000 people to 10,000 people that have that weird racist sort of fucking vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I experienced that in the South too, where some of the really, really tiny spaces in the South, the black and white people were like integrated. You know, if it was a town of like 30 people, they were like one fucking society. But it was like a town of like 3,000 people was like, you could feel the racism. But if you got the town to like 50 people or really tiny where it was just like a general store and a restaurant, they were like totally integrated. It was like weird. It was like a weird vibe how like, you know what I'm saying? And I guess maybe that's it. A town of 30 or 50 people, they're all just each other. They're all relying on each other. Petrozzi, let's go. chain you up in a barn? Dude, let's go. It's the opposite in California. I believe it. All right. Groceries. Dude, so what is it? We got Trump's approval rating? Dude, let's look at some of this shit. All right, so I want to look a little bit at this Kanye stuff, man, and the Epstein. I guess maybe we'll start with the Epstein. Maybe we'll bump Kanye but we got to look at the Epstein because we got to look at Nick Fuentes, guys. Okay, because I feel guys like there is a convergence. I feel like Nick Fuentes and Erika Kirk. I think those two groups are going to converge, boss. Okay? You know what I'm saying? What's up with Kanye? So to give you the short on what's up with Kanye is there were a bunch of influencers that got together. Okay? 𝗙𝗶𝗟 and 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗆𝗆 and Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate, and they all went out to a club together and they were doing some little 𝗙𝗶𝗟 stream together. And they played Kanye's Heil Hitler. And they thought they were all fucking cool. Like at this club singing along to that song. And Kanye was like, dude, I'm actually trying to erase that part of my thing. Right? I mean, guys, if you think about it, it's not Kanye's fault. But Kanye did elevate some of these people. He elevated Charlie Kirk. He elevated Candace Owens. And he's certainly not to blame, but his openly like crazy embracing of racism and then elevating, you know, Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk and legitimizing them to young people is a pretty big endorsement, okay? Because he then went off the hilt and became crazy like Hitler dude, which is like allowed the rest of them to all be like Hitler dudes too, right? And now you have the young Republicans in group chats talking about Hitler, you know? And so Kanye's like, I kind of want to forget about this shit, okay? If you look at it, right, that he was, right? You know, there's some reports going on. Kanye West is reportedly furious with 𝗙𝗏𝗟 and 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗆𝗆 for requesting Heil Hitler in the club. Okay? Kanye West is reportedly angry for them, you know, because they centered it around his song again. They're kind of like co-opting his song and making it part of this new like post-MAGA movement or whatever. And it was at a club in Miami. The two, along with Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines, and more, danced to the song while getting bottle service. And they were all videoing it and being like, ha ha, hee hee, right? They're all trolling, okay? And then Vendome apologized, the club did, and the mayor was like, dude, I'm really disturbed about this shit because Miami, guys, like, I've never been to Miami, but I have some friends that are from Miami, and Miami is like super diverse, guys. It is like very, very fucking diverse. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? And so this is pretty wild for them to go in there and play that shit in Miami. And Kanye, right? He's frustrated after a group of internet personalities recently played his banned song at a club because he's trying to move away from past controversies, okay? And he said that he's trying to rehabilitate his image. He's trying to take accountability by sitting down with rabbis, right? And he's dealing with various issues. I was dealing with bipolar, so I would take ideas I had and forget about the protection of people around me. So, I mean, I don't know if this is accurate, if he's really trying to do this, but we know the guy had some pretty serious mental health struggles, right? Kanye did. And certainly all the money and fame he had did not help that endeavor. So I don't know if he's accurately really trying to turn it around. I mean, for me, guys, I will give people the benefit of the doubt. I will. I'm one of those guys who was a druggie. And when I was a druggie, I was a manipulator. I took advantage a lot. I was not always the most considerate human being. And so, like, I do believe in the power of people to change. Okay, I do. I believe in the power of people to change no matter how much damage they've done. Now, that doesn't mean I'm automatically going to welcome him to the club. Like, I would like to see him become more of a fucking activist other than just saying, hey, don't play my song. But if this turns into like him becoming an activist and trying to right some of those wrongs, I'm open to that. Okay. He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of power. He could be an actual real figure if he's real, if he's really doing the work. Okay. Now, I certainly don't think he's necessarily doing the work because of, he's mad at 𝗙𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗋 and shit, right? But I think people can sometimes earn their way back. But you know what it is, though, guys? Here's what it is. And follow me on this. It's like a 10-year process of doing good, okay? It's not like Russell Brand where you grape someone and then you say, hey, I'm a Christian, and then you're just making content about the new Christian you as though the shit you did never happened. It's more like a 10-year program of constant atonement, okay? That's what I'm looking for. Like, if this is real, then okay, Kanye, I want to see you for a decade, like, atoning for all that shit. I don't want to just see you rehabilitating your image, where AKA meaning I want people to stop talking about the bad shit I did. I want to see actual, like, amends making, right? And that's kind of where I come at it. Like, I will give people the benefit of the doubt that they're capable of change, but I'm not giving them an instant, like, ooh, you're a good guy now. It's like, no, let's see you make amends for a decade. And then, like, if you want to do that, then sure, do it. Okay. But rehabilitating your image can certainly mean I just want you to stop talking about the bad shit I did, and nobody's talking about it, so don't bring it up again. And so that could very well be more of what he's doing, right? But it stemmed around this shit, guys. Where he got mad is because of this. It was this scene, okay? That's him going back. It was... Let's find the sneako. Dude, these guys are idiots, though. They really are. I mean, I hate the fact that we even have to like look at these people, okay? Because they're so dumb. But the reason why we have to acknowledge these people at all is because they have so much like voice over the youth. Okay. And here it is. Okay. And again, I'm not going to play the thing. I don't want to hear Kanye shit. Okay. I have no desire, but if you look at it, right, we're going to mute this shit. But if you look at it, they're at a club. You have the fucking Sneako's there. The clavicular idiot is there. You got Myron Gaines over here. You got Nick Fuentes over here wearing his little suit, and they're going to spin around in a minute. You're going to see Andrew Tate sitting there. And there's fucking Andrew, the greatest human trafficker, Tate, but they're all at a club together. They had like a party bus, and when they got to the club, they requested Kanye and Heil Hitler, and then they're all like celebrating it, being cool, this is how they rebel now. Okay, this is how they rebel, by being like Hitler Youth, post MAGA Hitler Youth or whatever. But guys, the fact that, you know, we have those young Republicans in New York, the Republicans, the leadership of the young Republicans who are guys in their 30s out there doing this shit. And you have Andrew Tate doing the Hitler salute, Elon Musk doing the Hitler salute. And they all think this is cool and edgy and racy. But meanwhile, look at Gaza, okay? Gaza's getting, you know, ethnically cleansed. Just like Germany got ethnically cleansed. Just like America, they're trying to ethnically cleanse. So there's a real fucking problem with this behavior, okay? And what's really bad about it, guys, is there are young people that look up to these guys. These guys, remember how I talked earlier? How when I was younger, we had the Breakfast Club, and we had 5 people who were different coming together and discovering their similarities. And like, yeah, man, we can actually rise above this, right? Or you have Kurt Cobain fighting for like gay rights. You have other musicians, gay musicians coming out, fighting for rights. There's protests. There's huge gay pride festivals in San Francisco that a bunch of us straight people were going to support them. But now we have influencers that are like Hitler and like groypers and fucking, you know, human traffickers and shit. And they're speaking a language of men being, you know, shut down and angry and always at war, and women being the enemy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And doing this shit at the club. And you see this guy is wearing a cross, right? Look at these. They're wearing these big crosses while they listen to their Heil Hitler music, you know? And there's Andrew Tate. Dude, what a scumbag, dude. Although that's why I'm here, guys. I went toe-to-toe with that fool. What an idiot. And then you have Nick Fuentes, right? And this guy is all like at the center of this, clavicular and sneeko. So yeah, so Kanye's pissed about this, but is Kanye want to change, or is he just running it up the flagpole? He's probably just covering his image. But anyway, this leads us into Nick Fuentes, okay? Because look at what Nick Fuentes is on, guys. You ready? This is wild, okay? What I'm about to show you, because Nick Fuentes is trying to slide into Charlie Kirk's slot, right? Like Charlie Kirk was the guy who used the Bible to weaponize the MAGA shit in the young people. And now that Charlie Kirk is gone, Nick Fuentes is trying to get in there to weaponize the Groyper America First movement and become like the new Charlie Kirk. He wants to slide into that power seat. And I think maybe in his head somewhere he thinks he could run for president someday. And Nick is worse, but I don't know. I don't know about that, you know, because I know that Nick's philosophy is worse and more dangerous, but I feel like Nick is better in a sense that he's more obviously bad, whereas Charlie Kirk, like a lot of people still don't even know how bad Charlie Kirk was because he was so elusive with it and he used scripture so well and he was so sneaky about it because he was more affable. And like, so Charlie Kirk was really a deceiver, whereas Nick is like, obviously, right? Whereas Charlie Kirk always had this little bit of plausible deniability, right? But Nick is obviously like too extreme. So maybe you're right. Nick is worse, but Charlie was more dangerous. Okay. Charlie was more dangerous because he was harder to spot. He was like sneakier and more crafty and harder to like, still people are like pretending like that guy wasn't a hideous racist. And it's like, what are you talking about? But look at this shit, guys. Okay. Because you got to look at this shit. Okay. Look at this. Okay. look at the evolution of Nick Fuentes here. All right. So in July, okay, like these guys have been big about Epstein. Okay. They've been big about Epstein. They've been big about the Epstein files, and it has created this sort of like MAGA fracture. Okay. And so 6 months ago, when this first sort of blew up, right, during the summer, it first blows up. This is right when Pam Bondi said, hey, we're going to fucking, we're not releasing the files. There's nothing in there. It's all a hoax. And everybody blew up about it. And so Nick Fuentes back then was saying, let's never forget that 1 year ago today, our president, Donald Trump, was spared from sudden death by God. Trump took a bullet so that he could live to cover up Epstein's pedophile island and to bomb Iran for Israel. Okay? So now, you ready for this? Dude, so this is Nick Fuentes, like basically saying Trump was rescued by God, and then he goes in to say that Trump is covering up the pedophile island, and then he's got an Israel conspiracy here. So he has God intervention, he's got his anti-Semitic bullshit, and then he's got like Trump has turned on us and is protecting the pedophiles. But now, you ready for this, guys? Look at what he said literally just the other day, boss. Watch this shit. Okay? Wait, no, that's not the one. Hold on, let me find the one he said just the other day. Dude, Tony, let's go. Says Charlie was young, especially for American politics. His messages were filth, but millennials often get shot when they get political around the world. Much love. Let's go. All right, so let me see here. Oh, wait. I want to get out into the real world, not in my bookmarks. All right, so watch this. Wait, where is it? Dude. Dude, why is it not showing up, bro? Oh, here it is. Ready? Watch this. This was from the other day, guys. Dude, this is crazy. Like, Charlie's getting shot scares me for us all, right? Yeah, I mean, it definitely, like, it is created and like, there's a course change that's happening, right? In the wake of that. I need to bookmark my bookmarks. I know, dude, I'm terrible. I'm so ADD, though. I'm always doing 20 things at once, and I'm trying to get better about it, and eventually I will. But watch this clip, dude, because this is some bat shit. So you saw 6 months ago, right? 6 months ago, it was like, 6 months ago, it was fucking, Trump has turned on us, and he's hiding the Epstein files. And now watch where he's at now.
Sometimes you got to be the villain. Epstein's my boy, dude. Let's just be honest. Epstein was cool as fuck. There, I said it. What are you going to do? Go ahead, cancel me. Yeah, I said it. Jeffrey Epstein was cool as fuck. Now what? Go ahead, cancel me. Do it. So sometimes we have to be the villain. Sometimes we have to be on a villain arc. That's okay. I'll be a little unpopular. I've been unpopular before. I like it better.
He says, I like it better. Dude, what are we doing, bro? Like, that's his new thing, okay? Right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and look at what this said. Somebody sent him money saying, Mom, just validating the beard mogs. Thanks for starting earlier than my bedtime. My Epstein opinion evolved from hearing your perspective. Girls become curious in high school, especially ones with daddy issues and have no guidance, no self-worth, but yearn for love and don't know where to find it. All that being said, no e-girls. So now they're like somehow like, oh, these girls had daddy issues and were just confused. And he's like taking the wildly unpopular opinion of being rebellious by like celebrating Jeffrey Epstein. And the Groypers, though, are now going to adopt this philosophy. I mean, let's be honest. Most of these guys, though, already, most of MAGA, they don't have a problem with Epstein, guys. I mean, if you think about it, if you go into the Christian MAGA world, they believe in like teenage marriage. Like Missouri, you could marry child brides up until like 2 years ago, bro. Okay? So like the part of the reason why the Epstein thing is not a huge deal to Republicans, to MAGA, is because they don't see anything wrong with dicking around with teenagers. They don't have a problem with that shit. That is like, it's in their Bible, guys. I mean, isn't it gross? It is gross. But this is where they're at now, guys. This is where they're at. And what I'm saying is that Erika Kirk, she's a convergence with them. Like Erika Kirk, and I feel like Erika Kirk, the only thing that's going to keep them separated is that Israel scenario. But there's like a weird convergence that's happening where I think that they're going to share a fan base that like people that just don't have an opinion on Israel are going to be able to exist in both of their worlds. Like people who leave that sort of topic off the whiteboard are like, they're both feeding the same world, except like Erika's feeding the Zionist version of that world and he's feeding the anti-Semitic version of that world. But Zionism and anti-Semitism are the same thing. They're just aimed at different nationalities, right? Different ethnic, right? I mean, if you look at Zionism and you look at anti-Semitism, they're both trying to sort of ethnically cleanse. It's both like shades of Nazism, really, in a weird way, the way these guys are doing it. This America First anti-Semitism and that Zionist Christianity. Dude, it's crazy. Now, to address what somebody said about Charlie Kirk, because Tony had gone back and he had said, we're going to go back and read his reply. He said, the course changes are so scary now. Feels like war, Tony said. And that reference what he said before, which is said that he said Charlie Kirk getting shot scares him for all of us. And now, I don't want to put Tony's words in his mouth, but I believe there are a lot of people who have that fear that what they are worried about is that Charlie Kirk was extreme, but still sort of like normalized. And now they're afraid that these crazy motherfuckers like Nick Fuentes are going to slide in there and become the new thing. And that the new thing is just going to be way out far right. And like, there's an energy of that is going to happen. Like everybody's jockeying for that vacancy. You have like Holly Hand, right? That closeted little like do-gooder, right? You have TPUSA and Erika Kirk, and then you have J.D. Vance's Orthodox Catholic, and you got Fuentes, and then you have Tucker Carlson kind of with his foot in everybody's pool. But what I want you to look at with Charlie Kirk, guys, is I want you to forget about what they're doing, okay? And here's what I want you to take from this. If you have that worry, you ready? I'm going to drop some faith knowledge on you right now. So I think we need to look at the Charlie Kirk situation on what we do with the vacuum, okay? Because Charlie Kirk was a very powerful cog And he was like already like the Donald Trump of tomorrow. He was the guy who was like deified already, even before he went. That's why they've turned him into a martyr. He was deified, and he was like the young reality TV star, okay, that was like, had this magic, okay? He rode a vehicle that was well designed, and he was there at the beginning, okay? So the thing you got to realize is part of Charlie's power was he was like the first guy, okay? Like if you looked at gaming, there was like Ninja and Tfue were the first guys. Or you look at the music, the Beatles were one of the first guys. And so those first guys through the wall have this like magical superpower. But the problem is after Charlie Kirk, everyone else is chasing it, okay? They're chasing it. And the thing about that is they're not going to be able to retake that magic. It's going to be a whole nother generation of people chasing before there's another Charlie Kirk, right? Like if you look at the Beatles, we waited all the way until Nirvana for another rock band. It was like 30 years before somebody came by that blew up like that. So there's going to be a generation of everybody chasing that magic before we get the next thing, because it's just a vacuum that everyone's fighting for. And so that's an opportunity for us, right? So I think we have a generation of detonating their shit, detonating MAGA, detonating and fighting against the fascism and this sort of theocratic takeover. And we have a chance to establish a preventative like wall of society that is like can snuff some of that out before we even get to that next big thing. And I think it's a real opportunity, actually. I think it's sad, like for his family, and I'm sure the people that were really into him are like heartbroken and shit. But I think there is a once in a generation opportunity for the left to come together and to reaffirm that like all this hostility and negativity and separatism and shit is not the way. And you know, like guys, I think it starts with us. Okay, I see that too. Thanks for the faith and support. Let's go. Thank you, Tony. Like, I think it starts with the left. And what I mean by that, guys, and we've been talking a lot about this, but I think we on the left have to show them what unity looks like. Okay, before we're going to get like the right wing and the middle right people to come around and to let go of that cult, we have to become the unified thing that we say is important, which means like the leftists and the communists and the socialists and the liberals and the centrists and the fucking whatever, the Hillary Clinton fans and the fucking Hasanabi fans and the 𝗙𝗍𝗆𝗀𝗧𝗏 fans and the fucking Pod Save America fans. We all have to come together and lock arms and show what it looks like to work together with people that don't believe the same thing as you. And like, we have to be an example. Instead of demanding behavior from them, you need to be less racist, you need to be less judgmental. No. We should set the tone. Let's be less judgmental of our own party. Let's be less judgmental of our own group. And let's show them what it looks like. Okay? That's what I think we do, guys. Instead of accepting them or demanding they change, let's us change. Let's us like put down our purity testing and our constant ragging on individual issues, and let's all come together as a unified left to stomp out MAGA fascism and simultaneously show them what it looks like. And I think Zoran's a great example. Okay, Zoran is a great example. He is a really good example. I think AOC is a great example too. She will like make buds with the fucking centrists in the middle of the road all the time. Zoran is great. He didn't go and like tell Donald Trump to fuck off. He went there and charmed him. He went there and politically won him over. And now he's like announcing that, yeah, we're giving childcare to undocumented people too. We're not checking your status. and like he's pushing Trump's fucking game, right? But he didn't, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we have to learn that lesson. And Zoran, the way he did it, he met with the Zionists and the Orthodox Jews and the Muslims and the Hindus and the Christians and the billionaires, and he made pacts, you know, made friends with Kathy Hochul. He eventually got on with Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, he literally, like, is with everybody. He united with everybody in New York. And he said, like, there's no reason we can't all get together and fight for the common good. And I think we need to learn that lesson together. We need to get on board, and we need to do it this year, and then we need to do it in 28. And we can fight it out in the primaries and vote with our heart in the primaries, but then afterwards, we got to get behind our candidates. We got to get together, and we got to forget about past resentments. We got to let go of Bernie or Hillary or Biden or Kamala or Tim Walz or any reason we're hurt. We got to, like, Cenk Uygur should let go of MSNBC. Fucking, you know, Anna Kasparian should let go of the fucking homeless people, right? And we should just all fucking get our shit together, okay? And realize that, like, we're not going to get a better world unless we do it together, right? And then let's get the power back, and then let's demand things while we have the power, okay? Because, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, guys. You ready? Dun, 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 dun. My number one complaint with the leftists and the Democrats and whatever, everybody that is in the Democratic Party. Christy Bork running for Congress in Tennessee. Let's go, Little Furl. All right, I'm going to drop some knowledge here. My number one complaint about left-leaning people in America is that we only protest and fight and demand when our fucking people don't have any power, guys. And that's dumb, okay? We either protest and demand when we're in an election, when we're hurting our goddamn candidates, or we do it when we're the minority party, and then we protest and demand and cry. And it's like, no, we got to get in power, and then while we're in power, you protest them. And you demand accountability when they have the power to do something about it. Otherwise, when you protest and your party, not that we shouldn't protest Trump, because we should, but when you protest and are defiant of your own people, when they don't have any power, you are just creating a sense of helplessness. You're creating a sense of, like, they're not working for us. They're not trying. Well, they can't. They can't do anything, guys. They don't have any power. If you don't have any power, it's all political theater, okay? So what we need to do is let's protest Trump, let's get the power back through unity, and then let's protest them when they're in power, okay? And make demands when we have the power. From day one, we can be out in the White House lawn with signs saying, we want health care, we want education, we want fucking, you know, you to fucking fix the Supreme Court. And we're going to do what we did in Minneapolis, but we're going to do it here in the White House to where you can't even have your press conferences because we're with whistles, like blowing whistles. So all your press conferences are going to have the sound of our whistles until you fucking listen to us. And we do it when we have the power. All right? That's my fucking thing. You ready? All right. And dude, we'll look at Christie's shit. All right? But right now I'm going to go make some videos, guys. I fucking actually did it on time. A 3-hour stream from 8:30 to 11:30. I'm proud of myself. I kept a sound schedule. We meandered a little bit and we covered the topics. Dude, I'm getting better at this, guys. Dude, all right? Dude, maybe one of these days I won't even be yelling the whole time. Maybe I'll be yelling only part of the time, and part of the time I'll be talking just like this. Hello, guys. Welcome to Political. I can't make any promises on that. But let's go. Dude, now we're going to give you the dance party that you guys fucking established. All right? Dude, let's go, baby. We'll be here. Let's go. ASMR? Dude, I don't know how people listen to ASMR. Right? But we're going to sort it out, boss. There's a new guy in town, guys. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what's funny about it? It's like I think about my role in the leftism thing, and the thing that's really crazy is I will fucking challenge people on the left, right? But like I genuinely like love Kyle Kulinski, and I love Sam and Emma, and I love Brian Tyler Cohen, and I even really like David Pakman, even though I find him a little too milquetoast to listen to. I love what 𝗏𝗡 does. I love Hassan. Absolutely fucking adore Hassan. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for fucking Hassan. Okay? And I, dude, even though I totally disagree with the Pod Save America guys, I still like them. I'm not offended by them. I don't hate anyone in the left coalition. Okay? I don't. I mean, the only people maybe that I have some disdain for are like the Cenk and Annas, because they're the people that are kind of like left, but are really spending all their time in right-wing spaces, and they're trying to cultivate a right-wing audience. You know, the whole Poly Market Studios. I don't like that shit. But like, I fucking love everybody else and can appreciate their differences and shit. I believe that we can be working together. You know what I'm saying? I believe that we can be holding each other accountable to at least have winning candidates and be working for the change that we want together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want Hassan to not be a doomer if he's feeling dooming, or if he's really upset that there's no socialism. I just want him to do it responsibly during the election, so he like uses his platform still to beat the other side. And then once we have the power, we can work on getting you your fucking socialism, instead of you having to just rail against never getting socialism because we never have the goddamn power, right? You know? And if that means like one last tax cut for some of these wealthy left-wing influencers, then so be it. They're going to get less tax cuts. Maybe their taxes go up, right? You could occasionally talk about the positive things he does. I mean, I could, but, you know, I mean, he does a lot of positive things. Dude, he goes and supports labor and shit. He goes and, like, you know, platforms fucking all kinds of candidates. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does a lot of positive shit, right? But the thing about this, though, you ready? So I want to illuminate something, okay? Because I know that you're like a fan, right? But when you say you could occasionally talk about the positive things he does, see, regulated, I'll make you a deal. Okay, I will occasionally talk about the positive things Hassan does if you go and demand that Hassan regularly talk about some of the positive things the Democrats do, including the ones in the middle. Okay, and that's my thing, because leftists will be like, hey, don't say negative things about Hassan, but it's like, no, I'm gonna talk about Hassan the way Hassan talks about the centrists. And like, unless we want to get together and also talk about like the good shit, you know what I'm saying? Others with my knowledge don't come for Hassan nightly. See, I'm not coming for Hassan though, regulated. Like, don't take that so personally. Hassan has a very big platform and he has a lot of power. Hassan is like the DNC, boss. I mean, I know there's leftists live in this fantasy that Hassan is some rebel, but Hassan is the DNC of socialism. He is the establishment. He is the biggest, like, left-wing socialist content creator out there. He is the de facto guy. So yeah, we're going to talk about him all the time, you know, because he has the most power in the leftist space. Of course you want to hold him accountable every day. The same way that he talks about the DNC all the time. Like, of course, you know what I mean? Like, he is literally the DNC of socialism. And I don't really even go after him. I just talk about him being responsible with his platform during election years, right? That's all I talk about. But I love the guy, dude. I fucking love the guy. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I do love him. But like, dude, like, you don't seem to understand that people you love that are different than you still want them to be like responsible with their platform. It's not even about his views, guys. It's about our platform. if you have a large platform, right, that affects the political climate, you should be responsible with it, right? Like Alex Jones, okay? Alex Jones had a really large platform, and he went out there and made up a conspiracy theory about the fucking, right? He made up a conspiracy theory about the school shooting. That was irresponsible, okay? And none of the right-wingers called him out about that, okay? Now, they should have. Now, I'm not saying the way Hassan is even remotely comparable to that, but like the thing about it is if we're supporting the Democratic Party, then we got to be responsible with our platforms. And if we're not supporting the Democratic Party, then we have to not like try to like, right? We have to not try to like hone in on that element, you know, like don't sort of be part of the Democratic Party while simultaneously breaking it down. And that's not even about someone's beliefs. It's about a simple responsibility. If you're going to be a political content creator and you're a leftist content creator, then your responsibility in the two-party system is to not help the right wing win, right? And now if you are openly trying to destroy the left-wing party, then you should just say that and not go to the DNC and not ask to talk to their candidates and not get mad when their candidates won't come on your show because you are actively trying to destroy the party. But you don't get to sit in the middle. You don't get to say, hey, Gavin Newsom won't come on my program, but I want to be at the DNC and oh, I'm mad that they kicked me out. That's bullshit. Because if you're going to the DNC, you have a responsibility to be like helping beat the fucking MAGA people. But you can't be wishy-washy with this. You can't be encouraging people to hold a Holocaust Harris sign and reiterating that kind of rhetoric and then be mad when the DNC gives you the boot, right? And so my thing is like, I love that guy, but I like want him on board. Like I want him as part of the Democratic coalition because he's a big, powerful voice that has the power to push the whole party to the left. But he's not going to push it to the left if he fucks around and is irresponsible with his platform. You know what I mean? That's my thing, guys. And that might just be the wisdom of age, right? Because I definitely was much more of a destructive force when I was 30 or 20 or 18. But now that I'm 56, I'm looking for a little less of a destructive force. I save my destructive force for MAGA, and I save my, like, let's get together and utilize all our superpowers force for our own party. Because, like, guys, like I said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Hassan, okay? Because he does have a superpower of being intelligent, of being patient. He'll like talk to people and try to like win the point and use reason and shit like that. But he also has a bunch of feisty aggressive. You know what I'm saying? He also has a bunch of feisty aggressive nature that gets people like activated in a visceral sort of way. And I think we need to use that energy and talent that he has to beat the shit out of MAGA, to beat fascism back. And then when we beaten fascism back, we can start negotiating for like how we're going to run our party when we have the power. That's what I want to do. And so I want to partner up with Hassan and Kyle Kowinski and fucking Mike from PA and all these guys. And I don't know if they're going to want to partner up with me because I like sometimes they only want to partner up with people that are as far left as them. And they look at people who defend the Democratic Party as the enemy, but I'm not the enemy, okay? I am far left, but I also am middle, and I also don't hate the center. And I like the money and the infrastructure that the Democratic Party affords, you know? You know what I'm saying? You know? But so there you go, you know? And I mean, dude, I think it's pretty obvious. I think if people are taking what I say wrong and misinterpreting it, it's because they're trying to think that I'm saying he's bad or he's wrong. But that's like, I think if you hear it that way, you're personalizing your beliefs and you're getting your own personal connection to how badly you want change and all that shit. And you're wrapping it up in your relationship with like Hassan or his philosophy. Because at the end of the day, we're all just commentators and we're capitalists and we're all making a living. And like none of us has the supreme view. We're all just trying to grow our channels and grow our fan base and make a living. And so the thing is is like we should be able to talk about our intentions with each other and not take that shit personally. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And not take that shit personally, right? Either party, you don't toe the line, you were helping the other side. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no excuse for us not coming together. Okay, that's the bottom line. Is if we're on the left and we have one left party right now, that's the Democratic Party, we either come together, or if you don't want to come together with the Democratic Party, you just want to destroy it, then you have to be honest about that so we can cut ties and you can go do your little thing and we'll just go fight fascism separately. You know what I'm saying? But if we're going to come together, let's come together. And like, I don't want to hear anything other than that. There's really nothing else to talk about other than that. It's like we have a common enemy. Let's get together and work on the common enemy and stop the centrists, stop attacking the lefties, and the lefties stop attacking the centrists. I think like getting us on the same page, but we'll see. I put this out there and it'll get out there and people will fucking hear about it. You just pointed out that I use 𝗙𝗏 exclusively to say how the far left is a problem. That is incorrect. You're incorrect, Regulated. I talk about 𝗙𝗏 because he is one of the leftist content creators that I like the most, okay? And I like Kyle Kowinski more than I like 𝗙𝗏. I feel connected to Kyle more. But 𝗙𝗏, though, has been some of the most vociferous. You know what I'm saying? He's been the most vociferous. If you don't say that he definitely is can be the biggest voice, I mean, just tell me, Regulated. All right, answer this question for me. Who is the biggest voice of opposition to the Democratic Party right now in the political commentator space? Regulated. Who is the biggest voice? I'm waiting. The biggest, most powerful voice that is voicing socialism and anti-democratic party. All right. Who would that be in the political commentary space? Right? Who do you think the biggest voice is? Right? Of people that are leftists that are challenging the Democratic Party. Obviously 𝗙𝗏. There you go. Okay? So there you go. That's why I talk about him every night, because he's the biggest voice. Okay? The same way that we talk about centrist Democrats, that we talk about fucking every night we talk about Gavin Newsom, whether he's good or bad or what's going to happen if he's president. Every night we talk about how people hate Hakeem Jeffries, and we talk about how maybe the fucking, he does an important job. And my thing is my thing with 𝗙𝗏 is 𝗙𝗏 does a really important job. He is the biggest fucking voice on the left. He is the biggest opposition voice of the centrist Democrats. And so he's a really important piece. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You don't believe I'm acting like I love him and with unity. Well, so Regulated, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't believe me, that's your problem. Okay? You say you don't believe I love him, but I do love him. And so if you don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. But I do love him. Okay? I do love him. I adore the guy. You know what I'm saying? And I'll ignore you then, right? That's fine. I'll ignore you. But if you don't believe me, that's a UP, dude. I don't care if you don't believe me though, Regulated, because it's this isn't about you, right? Me talking about 𝗙𝗏 is about what I fucking would like to see 𝗙𝗏 bring to our coalition. And 𝗙𝗏 may want to bring different shit. And I'd love to get in a room with him and just be able to talk about what do you really want, But you know what I'm saying? But you sitting in my chat, I pick what I get caught up on. Yeah, but so the thing is, though, is there you go, boss. See, now I just think you're a problem, right? Because now, there you go. Now I don't even want to see your chats anymore. Because when you say you pick what you get caught up on, no. It's the leftist coalition is important to me. And you come in and try to tell me I don't feel how I feel because you're all triggered or some shit about 𝗙𝗏. And then you want to come up in here and hijack and soak up the energy. So now, like, okay, now you can hear me talk about Hassan, but I'm not going to listen to you fucking just sit there and meander and then try to turn that shit back on me. That's like abusive, dude. Like, bye-bye. Right? Dude, you know what I'm saying? That shit is abusive. If, you know, dude, right? Dude, it's like the whole thing. Oh, you choose what you get caught up on. Well, hey guys, guess what? I'm going to get caught up on building a coalition. Okay? I'm going to get caught up on building a coalition. Dude, I am. Dude, Hassan is not Cenk, right? See, that's just it. Like, Cenk Uygur is like destructive, dude. I don't think Hassan is destructive, man. I think when Hassan is like, you know, creates a rift or whatever, it's like not like, I don't know. I don't feel like he's the Cenk Uygur thing. He's not trying to cultivate some right-wing shit. I think he's just a hugely passionate fucking socialist sort of warrior guy with very strong convictions, and he doesn't want to yield. And I totally understand that. I'm the same way. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I'm like, I think there's no reason that we can't all be working together. Because, dude, he is a warrior for a lot of shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? He is, dude. He's a warrior with a huge platform. Right? But guys, we're going to talk a lot about Hassan. And we're going to talk a lot about everybody in the space. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we are. And I'm sorry if that's a problem for you. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Right? Maybe one day me and him will be together. I mean, dude, he's looked at my tweets on his stream and shit before, right? I don't know. Hassan may dislike me. I don't know how he feels about me. We were in the call together on Andrew Tate way back when, right? The thing that made me fucking come to this stream. Hassan was in that Zoom thing, that Zoom chat as well, on that Andrew Tate thing. Dude, yeah, Hassan Abi, that's him. Dude. Oh, shit, boss. Dude. Dude, Cenk never bring nobody. I don't think anybody wants to talk to Cenk, you know? I mean, see, the thing that's really interesting with Hassan saying that, like, Gavin Newsom didn't want to come on his show, like, I'd like to figure that out. I'd like to be a vehicle that gets Gavin Newsom to go on Hassan's show, right? If that's really true, that Gavin Newsom didn't want to go on Hassan's show because he sees Hassan's group as, like, the enemy, and maybe they see Gavin as the enemy. I would like to be the guy that facilitates those connections to be made. And guys, I can do that shit. I can get in a room with people that hate each other and like make people that hate each other like talk to each other. I'm really good at that because I can fucking like, I don't know, I can get along with anybody, man. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I feel like ultimately you could even do it across party lines, but I don't think that's possible now with the venom of the MAGA. I think we need to start with our own side, and I'd like to see it with our own side. I'd like to bring those people together. Like, I'd like to be the guy that gets Gavin Newsom's camp fucking talking to Hassan's camp and like answering hard questions and those guys not feeling like they're on different sides. Show us. I'm working on it. I mean, it's going to take some time. Give me 5 years. Okay? Give me 5 years. Seriously, I've only been a channel for like, you know, a year and a half. It's coming up on 2 years, 70,000 subs. I need to be like a lot bigger, right? But I think give me 5 years and we'll work on it. You have to like, it takes a while to get known, to get in there. We don't got 5 years. No, I mean, it's going to take some time, guys. Right? It takes time. I mean, you've seen little things, right? Like Midas Touch put a fucking tweet up on mine. Kyle's fucking giving me a shout out. I know Brian Tyler Cohen. I know Hassan knows who I am, but he might think I don't like him, right? I mean, think about this, guys. Think about what we're up against, because even that person that was in here that was arguing about Hassan, he could very well be sitting in Hassan's chat day in and day out saying political punk, all he does is talk shit about you, right? That's kind of what we're up against. That guy could be literally taking his version of me thinking I hate Hassan, he doesn't believe I love Hassan, And he could be going into Hassan's chat, telling Hassan every day that I can't stand him, even though it's not fucking true, right? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what's going on with the way drama gets created in this shit. And so Hassan might think that I genuinely don't fucking like him at all, right? Maybe I'll make a video that is just like an open letter to 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗏. Hey, buddy, we need you, boss, right? Maybe that would be a good video of me making an appeal, right? But you're right, because there's a lot of drama creation that happens here in this world. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like fucking, they like to create drama. Dude, Hassan is not the enemy. He is not, dude. He is not the enemy, dude. I do not think he's the enemy at all, boss. I think he is a fucking ally we need. Okay, the Democratic coalition needs Hassan. And if that means convincing some of these middle of the road people that they need Hassan too, then yeah, we need to do that as well. Because I mean, the same shit with Zoran, right? Zoran, they don't, like, the Dems don't realize they need Zoran, and Zoran needs the Dems, right? But I think there's a lot of Dem people who think Hassan is like some huge enemy, and we don't need him. He's like thwarting us. And that could be Gavin Newsom's camp too. Right? And so, like, we have to go to work on those fucking guys as well. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, it's like, it's not just about Hassan. You know what I'm saying? I guess I feel like Hassan is more reachable, right? Where I'm at right now, I feel like there's a better chance of me getting in the room talking to Hassan than me getting in the room talking to Gavin Newsom. Okay? And I don't know if that's accurate, but, and so, guys, listen to me. About the Dems funding ICE, okay? Here's the deal. That was a spending bill that wasn't just ICE, okay? That was a spending bill that was like multiple things, okay? And they didn't want to shut the government down right before this big winter storm, okay? There's a huge winter storm. The entire East Coast is about to get racked. Donald Trump is probably not going to give any money to blue states because he's all mad and FEMA's been disbanded. So there was like money for like disaster relief in that bill. So basically what happened is the Republicans had the votes to pass it, but they wanted 4 people to not vote to protect their seats. So the Democrats who were in purple districts voted because they want to save their seats, and everybody decided to just make nice in order to not cause chaos for people in the middle of a fucking winter storm. And if you're mad about that, if you're freaking out about that, like, I think you should find a way to process it, get a therapist or something, because now is not the time to destroy shit when everyone in America is about to go into a fucking crazy storm, okay? And there was other things. It wasn't just ICE funding. And every one of those Democrats, I don't know about Jared Golden, but the other Democrats are basically in Republican districts. Okay, Tom Suozzi, that's a Republican district. They voted for Trump. And George Santos had that district, but a Dem holds the House seat. Maria Gluesenkamp-Perez, her district voted for Trump, but she's a Democrat that holds that seat. So sometimes they're going to make votes that are going to, like, appease the Trump voters in their district to make sure they don't get voted out. Now, that being said, the real question will be what happens when we take power again, okay? Will they get on board with some good change? And that's where we're going to find where the rubber's going to hit the road, okay? But the thing is, guys, is they couldn't stop the bill, okay? If all the Dems voted against it, the other 5 Republicans would have voted for it, and then the bill would have passed, and everybody's Congress seats would have been in jeopardy. 7 Democratic seats would have been in jeopardy. 5 Republican seats would have been in jeopardy. But guys, that's 2 more Democratic seats being in jeopardy. So we're not going to take a chance on losing 2 seats, potentially, over something that they're going to pass anyway. That would have been dumb politics. I know it doesn't make the people that are like, just want to dig their heels in, even if it kills them. But like, guys, we gotta not dig our heels in if it kills us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta just let it go and realize that it's okay that we like let this thing through right here, because it wasn't just ICE. It was other important shit, and it was not shutting down the government. Now, if we want ICE out, guys, the way to get ICE out is to win the House back and then win the presidency, okay? But if we win the House, ICE is gonna fucking get it going. And I know, Magnolia Girl, I know with a lot of people, you can explain this to them and they don't want to hear it because they just want straight opposition party. But guys, the opposition only works when you have the power to stop it, okay? Like being the opposition when you don't have the power to stop it is dumb because it's going to cost you shit. What you need to do when you don't have the power to stop it, then what you do is you just only be the opposition when there's a win in it for you. And right now, if those Dems in their red districts had voted no on that shit, it would have been a loss in November, okay? It would have been a big fucking loss in November. So you got to just realize that sometimes it's not going to look good, okay? But it's a part of something bigger, okay? That's how I see it. It's the game of politics versus the integrity of fucking thing. Why join them? They didn't join them. They did what their constituents want, Anna girl. That's the thing. What you got to realize, okay, is like Maria 𝗙cie𝗶𝗆𝗀 did not join Trump. She voted on that bill the way the people she represents would have wanted her to vote, okay? So she's actually like taking care of her people. And right when a winter storm is coming, you know, it wasn't about Trump. I guarantee you it wasn't about Trump. It was about her like doing what her people would have wanted and her protecting her seat in November. Because I've heard people say primary them. But let me just tell you this, okay? You ready? Here's my final thing, and then I got to go. With Maria 𝗙cie𝗶𝗆𝗀 in general, okay? You ready? If she gets primaried with somebody left wing, right? Let's say Kyle Kulinski moves to Washington and primaries Maria 𝗙cie𝗶𝗆𝗀 in exchange for her voting on that ICE package. Okay, Kyle's like, fuck that. She should have voted no. I'm going to primary her. And say he wins and he beats Maria 𝗙cie𝗶𝗆𝗀. Kyle Kulinski guaranteed he would lose to the Republican in that district. Okay, if you primary Maria 𝗙cie𝗶𝗆𝗀 and you beat her with a progressive, they will lose the goddamn district and that will become a Republican seat. That's the problem we're facing there, guys. It is like it's a Trump district, right? But it's occupied by a Democrat. So we need to use it wisely when we have power, okay? And she voted back when they were all no on the fucking CR. She voted no with the rest of the coalition because it was safe to do then. But you can't shut down the government right before a winter storm, guys. That just looks bad. Okay, shutting down the government right before the winter storm would not be the right optics. That would haunt you. Okay, sometimes you got to play the game, guys. All right, that's my final word. I know some people don't want to hear it, but sometimes you got to play the game. So remember, guys, the goal is November. The goal is taking back the House. All right, yeah, we went a half an hour over. I don't mind that. That's small potatoes. Let's go. In my opinion, why do I think people don't understand a gradual move to the left? Socialism is the opposite of Republicans. I mean, I think it's complicated. I think what it is, guys, is it's just the way party played out, right? Like Democrats had power for a while, guys, and they didn't capitalize on it. They left a lot of things as their campaignable issues. Okay, the Dems did. They didn't ensconce Roe versus Wade. They didn't ensconce some other things. They kept them as issues they could campaign on. And then the Republicans did the same with immigration. And then eventually the racism kicked up and the pandemic traumatized us all. And so now everybody's just scared and recovering from a trauma. And I think we're all kind of shell-shocked, you know? And so I think it's like we're going to learn lessons from this, you know? And like, but I think people are genuinely fucking scared and frustrated and traumatized, right? And so I think it's complicated. I think it's you know, it is really a product though of Dems having power for like 8 years, and there were some critical things they could have done that they didn't do, and then, you know, there was a very badly run campaign, a very arrogant campaign in 2016 that kind of blew up in our face. And so, I mean, mistakes were made, man. But I really think it's more about the civil rights movement. We're still litigating like civil rights. And you know, that's going to be another 50 years, I think, guys. We're on the 50-year plan, boss. All right, you ready? You ready? You know, I do want to say one thing, okay? Because I do want to say to this Jay says it's not about destroying the Dems. It's about reform by force. We only have our vote. If we vote blue, no matter who, they will never rep us, but continue to move to the right. But that's incorrect, boss. Like, if we had voted for Hillary was going to move to the left. The Supreme Court justices would have been to the left. The country would have moved a little bit to the left. They only move to the right after they lose to the right, okay? Every time they lose to the right, they fucking try shifting to the right because they think the right becomes a winner. But if you keep winning, if you keep voting blue no matter who, and then you protest them while they are in power and keep holding them accountable over a long period of power, you can adjust that, right? And you can run yourself and get elected and move them from the left inside. You know what I'm saying? And now they're moving more right. I don't think they're moving more right. I don't actually see that, boss. I don't see that they're moving more right. You know what I mean? And guys, the thing about the universal health care, if you really want universal health care, I suggest we figure out how we can get it. I think the problem is that nobody knows how to do it. Nobody knows how to do, right? You know what I'm saying? Look at what Gavin is saying. Yeah, I don't look at what people are saying, though. I hold people accountable for what they do, boss. I get them in power, and then I look at what they do. Like, people say shit, and nobody, like, you know what I'm saying? People say shit that they think or their fucking campaign strategists think is going to help them acquire the most amount of voters. And if they're worried that the left hates Gavin, he might make an appeal to the right, but that's totally understandable. That's just the way people campaign. We could all just support him and get behind him and then see what he does, right? And hold him accountable once he has power, right? But it's like, I guess you got to stop sort of looking at what people say because people don't always say what they mean. Again, I'm going to say one last time and then I got to go. Obama distanced himself from gay marriage. Obama, if you were worried about gay marriage, you wouldn't have voted for Obama because he wouldn't talk about it. He distanced himself because he was worried it would spin these independent voters. And then once Obama got elected, we got gay marriage. But like it's not what they say all the time, guys. Okay, somebody can come and tell you, I'm going to give you all this leftist, and then they turn into Kyrsten Sinema or John Fetterman. They keep doing this. Every time they tell you, I am your progressive ally, they turn into some centrist weirdo. It's not about what they say. It's about the track record of what they've done. And you know what I mean? And so you just want to look for people that can win the election, and then you want to try and make them malleable. They're all just people. They're not like lords and masters. They're all just people, but you threaten them when they have power, not when they don't. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, it's just a suggestion, right? Because if you look at it, the game of politics is trying to get the most voters. And that includes trying to get these middle people that are nervous about shit. You know, like Spanberger won in Virginia because she didn't, you know, fucking, like, she basically avoided and had a stock response about that, like, men and women sport bullshit that 𝗙𝗎𝗄𝗃, whatever her name was, kept bringing up. And Spanberger just defaulted to, I think we leave that to the local jurisdictions. It's not the government's job to decide how people behave in schools. And she kind of avoided that subject, but now that she has power, she's going to, like, she's not going to throw the trans people under the bus, you know? You know what I'm saying? And like, so some of it is like, you gotta, you know, like, you know, and, you know, you should run for office. If you don't like what they're doing, run. Show us. Let's go. Now we're dancing. Dude, let's go. Dude. Oh, shit. Yo, 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 yo. Dude, to start my campaign, I might run, bro. Right now, though, I'm gonna dance. You ready? You ready? Oh, oh, oh! My machine has perfect in you. Let's go. Oh shit, boss. All right. Dude, we're gonna figure it out. We are, boss. We got a lot on the line, bro. I believe in us. I believe that we can sort this shit out and not shoot ourselves in the foot. My machine has perfect stars in you. Don't you know there is nothing I won't do for you? My machine has perfect stars in you. Don't you know there is nothing I won't do for you? All right, guys. Dude, I'm actually gonna send Hassan a message, boss. I am. I'm gonna reach out to him. We're gonna see what happens, all right? Oh, yeah. My machine has perfect stars in you. Don't you know there is nothing I won't do for you? My machine has perfect stars in you. Don't you know there is nothing I won't do for you? Let's go! All right! Dude, we're gonna keep on keeping on, guys. We got a long way to go, baby! All right? But we're gonna reach out, we're gonna reach for the stars, and we're gonna end up somewhere, all right? But we're gonna try to bring the unity together, baby! Dude, I believe in us. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night!
I just wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. It's about you. I would never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they say. My heart's unbreaking. Your radiant truth. I know that you will understand because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. One, two, three, inside of me, bright eyes, hypnotized, never telling lies, socialite, half-life, check yourself, do it right, you will be fine. 4, 5, 6, no stones or sticks, my broken bones, somehow they all got fixed, you're so in demand, you're my vitamins, pretending highs. Abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, please make them disappear. And whatever happens, promise me you won't leave me here. I left him behind. 7, 8, 9, no, not alright. TV, catch me, crushes, waste time, out of sight and out of mind. Just need another rhyme, I'm too numb to cry. 8, 9, 10, it's happening again. I'm moving out and moving on, I'll throw away and hold it in. You're lonely, never ever only, nothing feels right. Abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, please make them disappear. And whatever happens, promise me you won't leave me here. Leave me here. And I wonder, will this be permanent underneath your spell again? How come you're emotionless? I just am. Abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, please make them disappear.